Yeah, man. No play house nothing like this. And it stripped them. Stripped them off their roofs. This is not normal. This is what a category 5 hurricane do. Matter how your roof good, once it's not slab, it strip it. I heard one of the meteorologists said this hurricane can take a bark off a tree. I doubt him. But I think you can take money out of your pocket too. It's an upper class place, you know. No small house not there, so everyone gets stripped. It's not one house. Look at this house. Look at this house. Strip the roof. Look how the attic eye. And you just say, put up your attic eye, hurricane can't touch you. Look at the one there where they line a fiber thing. Strip them. Hey? Look at my house here. Deco tile. Strip them. This is White House, Westmoreland. Strip them. Look on the side there. Look at something, mobile or something, you know. Oh God. Deco tile on the roadside I like. Deco tile on the roadside over here I like. You know. Oh. That kind of damage. What I was saying. Living at the most and you see everything coming down. Move, go away. Yeah. This is White House where them sell the fish, people. Call upon a nice house there. You want to touch a zoom on it, that's touch tree, number 3. 10 tree. Nice house there. Rip up. So the fish, all of the fish shop them are there, so everything. Every fish shop right up on the seaside there, so. Everyone. Whoa. Every fish shop. Good afternoon, everyone. We are awaiting a press conference that is called by the leadership of the People's National Party that should be starting in about 10 minutes. So in the meantime, we show you some of the footage from what we did on Friday. Welcome to Portland Spice TV, everybody. This is the Colin Bell Show. Them over there, so over there, so the boat them now. Yeah, see some of them. It's what, 12 minutes to 6 o'clock. Just interesting. People, me don't know, but me never seen nothing like this yet. Jeez, every house.
Dogs better tell us, say, yo, them final mix, the wicked dog. Yo, me love how the music come on, star. That
Roof, it gone. I mean, it's a decro tile there, you know. A decro tile that. See that? Yeah? Another Jamaican house them. A proper house them.
Mash up.
Everything mash up. Everything. Proper house. Yeah? Another Jamaican house them. Everything. And we are coming, it just a get worse. Producer can't take no more. She can't come out of van right now. She can't take it. See there? I just see base of the house there, I see. Eh? See there? See the people? See there? You don't know. This no normal. See you next man. Yeah man, big up on yourself and stay safe here, sir. So
Portland Spice TV and Coronation Beach. And Boston Beach in Portland.
yeah man, we are Portland where I come from. So how now manage? So we wanna stay? Alright. Alright, I wanna stay safe here, sir. God stay with you now. Alright, bless up. Anybody else want? Come now. Portland bread, you hear? Come. What do you think them? Everybody out there. Everybody out there. One more.
Get one between. Use them smaller one.
Once you get one already,
How long will you fight? How long will you fight? Wanna shake it
just eh? Satisfied with it.
Thank you, sir.
Respect yourself.
You know where you want the bread? You don't want the bread? Come in
police are coming. I get them? Move them and move them. Pushing around the lights. Guess what is happening here? They are moving some of the people from the Black River Hospital because we are close to Black River right now. This is a total gas station, and you see it, total. It's
total.
Look on a container there. Turn over. Peeps, St. Elizabeth mash up. Mash up. Mash up. Mash up. I just saw a policeman a while ago asking for the closest shelter where we could go and deliver some food stuff. The man said there's no shelter, no building, not down here, with no roof
Let me
on
stop
it.
right here, so.
Live the island dream. It's your chance to be one of over 100 winners in the Buster, Turbo and Viva Island Dream promotion. Win your share of more than 1.2 million in cash and prizes, plus 2 all-inclusive weekend staycations for 2. That's not all. Score coolers packed with Buster, Turbo and Viva. Just buy any can or bottle of Turbo, Buster or Viva. Find the code starting with BB, then visit at Buster Soft Drink Official or Turbo Energy on IG or Facebook for details. Authorized in section 58 of the Indian Office Act. Conditions apply.
Hold on.
Oh, no, just stay one place. Stay one place. Oh, no, stay one place. Everyone that's
So once again, we are waiting on the press conference. It's scheduled to start at 2 o'clock Jamaica time. We're still waiting. As soon as they begin, we will join that press conference, and then we'll go straight into the show right after that. So share up the live, subscribe to the channel. Remember, only those who have subscribed will be able to go into the chat room. No juice, no water. Well, we didn't, you see, that was our first trip down there. We didn't know exactly what was going on, what to expect. We intended on carrying water. We didn't bring any though. But we are going back on Thursday. So anybody who wants to donate some juice or some water for us to take down there on Thursday, you can do so. We have a cash app. It's on the profile. The link is not there, but it's on the profile. Madam Producer, can you put the link in the chat room? Just copy the link and put it in the chat room so people can see the link to the chat, to the cash app that you can send funds to. If you want to send it through Western Union, you can send it to us. And whatever we do will not be a secret. Whatever we do will be on this platform. So we are videoing everything that we do. And if you want your name to be called, say you donate $10, we are willing to do that. Because we just do this. So it's not about doing it because we are looking nothing from it. No. We are just doing this because of the inspiration what we get. Yeah? And therefore, when you get that kind of inspiration, you do what you're supposed to do. You bring the oxtail, Papa. No, we're not bring the oxtail because them not no pot on them something there. No cooking. Them not have no water. So, yeah, they do need drinking water. And I think the US them must set up some treatment plant because them not have no water for being neither the whole of the water them down they contaminated. So they are afraid to use the water. We also spoke about the stench that is down there. So them have to be careful what kind of water them use right now. So where's the rest? We should have some more. I wanted to show you some more. I don't understand what the rest of the video them there. We're supposed to have some more videos so we can show you. Not that. Videos that we can show you. So we're still waiting on the live feed. Still. Oh, but you're not getting it through? Yeah. Oh. 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 We did not remember that. Some damage was done in Portland as well. Because a lot of people are not aware that we have some damage done in Portland. So I could see if we can show us some of that. Some of the things from Portland until they are ready. Bam, badam, badam, badam.
Hey, man.
Greetings, my brother. How are you doing? Vamos.
Greetings to every individual. And as we go through the struggle, we know that the Almighty knows everything. But I want every listener to hear this. Read 1 John chapter 6, verse 1 to 29, and see what they gain from it.
Read it for us, though, please. You read it.
No, I don't have the Bible.
Oh, but you know what? So what does it say, though?
Well, many things pertaining to the universe. Matthew 6 verse 9 and 10, Matthew 6 33, Corinthians 6 verse 9. So it's a quite a big thing that everybody should look at. But as I know, many people won't want to hear this, but the only thing
Morning. Morning. Yes, sir. Morning. Walk on, brother. Bless up. If you're just joining us, welcome to Portland Spice TV. We are live at this time. There's supposed to be a press conference coming from the leader of the opposition. We're going to join that press conference as soon as it is ready. We're not seeing them ready yet, but we're still waiting to join as soon as they are ready. We're going to go to that press conference so we can hear what the opposition they are saying. We have seen and carried a number of a press conference put on by the government, put on by JPS. And one of the things that we really want to hear about now is the kind of relief that will be going to the people of Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, right here in Portland. Quite a number of our citizens here in Portland lost their roofs in Comfort Castle, Cornwall Barracks, Bellevue, to name a few of the places that people have lost their roofs and also need assistance. So, as I said to you earlier, on Thursday, we're going to journey back down to either Westmoreland or St. Elizabeth to bring some more aid to the people. We're going to bring mostly food stuff. We know they want clothes as well. Seeing like they are ready to start. We have joined the Zoom. So you see that. We're definitely trying to get in on the Zoom so that we can also pose a question or two in this press conference. But they have not yet started. So we're showing you some footage from the Rio Grande Valley. This is the Rio Grande Valley on Wednesday. Share up the live, my people. Invite everybody on.
Hello.
Morning. How you doing?
Deadly. Good idea.
Hey.
Good idea. In the press conference, we should have the leader of opposition, Mark Jefferson Colin, Vice President Natalie Garvey, General Secretary Data Campbell.
This is Seaman's Valley. I'm call it here a long level. And a whole heap of banana they cross there, so. Whole heap of banana. The thing bow. There's a big banana plantation.
Hello?
Good evening.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Good evening.
Talk up, man.
Yeah, one question I would like you to ask when you get in the press conference. Why the soldiers don't have proper safety gears? The soldiers don't have gloves and
No,
muffler and
that couldn't be a question for the opposition. Is the opposition, not the government, going to be in the press conference?
Okay, sorry man. I thought it was the Prime Minister. Oh,
no,
sorry man.
It's
Sorry.
the leader of opposition and his team.
Okay. But it should be able to pose a question to the Prime Minister. Why the soldiers don't have safety gears? Safety gears, no gloves, no muffler, you know what I mean? An angling chainsaw and machete, women, you know what I mean? The damage hand on it.
Well, if they don't have those things, it's not good.
Yeah, it's about image, mate. It's about image, you know. No safety gears, no gloves, no earmuffs if you use a chainsaw. You know what I mean? And it's not looking good, mate.
You say
You know, and they should have. Sorry.
You say it's not looking good.
No, safety gears come first. The glasses, they must have glasses on.
Yes,
using chainsaw and earmuffs, you know what I mean? You know, and gloves. You know what I mean? Safety is the first safety come first.
Yes, definitely. That's critical.
Yeah, and the ladies using the machete with the gloves, they damage their hand on it because they're not used to it. You know what I mean?
That is true.
It's very bad, man. It's not looking good. You know what I'm saying? You know, so anyway, I'll watch what press conference, but one of the questions I like to ask, you know what I mean? What about safety gears for soldiers?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, speak later, mate.
All right, my brother. Respect.
Okay.
Yeah, safety gears are critical, but I'm sure the army should have them safety gear, you know. I don't know why it's not on show. but I don't think it is something that they don't have. They are ready. Hold on.
The opposition has called this press conference because the West is in trouble. Jamaica experienced something we weren't truly prepared for. I know we couldn't have prepared for Melissa's, but there are some things that we could have done differently. And there's still time. Our leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, is going to play for you what has been happening differently. And there's still time to do some things that will ensure that those who experience the wrath of Hurricane Melissa will help to pick up the pieces and get their lives together. No, our leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, is going to play for you what has been happening pre, during, and post Melissa coming to Jamaica. Dr. Alfred Dawes will tell you about the health crisis and the potential health dangers if we do not get the medics into ground zero now. Isat Buchanan will tell you what they experienced on the eastern end of the island with Hurricane Melissa in Portland. We have MP Natalie Nita. She is going to tell you what happens when we do not coordinate well. When the local players at the councillor, local government level, the MPs, and outside help tries to come in, but the coordinating hub cannot hold, she is going to tell you how we propose that we do it differently so that Jamaica can get on with the business of recovery. I will speak with you as a member of parliament for South St. James, a constituency that was directly in the crossbows of miserable Melissa. And then Zuleika Jess will tell you of the experience she had with her constituents in St. Elizabeth. I will also speak to you about what's happening in Westmoreland, Hanover, Trelawney, because the information that we're receiving from our representatives is too much not to share with Jamaica. We will speak again when you can ask us questions at the end of the presentation. But for now, please welcome Mark Golding, the leader of the opposition.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Jamaica. Good afternoon, members of the media and all listeners. I want to begin by expressing my profound, heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of those who have lost their lives in this tragic hurricane or its aftermath. Our sympathies also extend very profoundly to those thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of Jamaicans who are suffering at this time from the impact, the calamitous impact that this hurricane has had. And we are aware, of course, that there are levels of destruction. There's a large ground zero, as it's called, which is really the areas of Jamaica that were in the swathe of the hurricane when the eye hit in eastern Westmoreland, stretching into St. Elizabeth, stretching into the more westerly parts of Westmoreland as well, and then moving north into South St. James, parts of Hanover, and of course, Trelawney and even St. Anne. The rest of Jamaica has also suffered damage, some of it before the hit of the hurricane. And so we can't leave them out because there are communities all over the island where people are in a very difficult situation, whether it be due to no access with the roads being blocked or breakaways, landslides, and so on. Our hearts go out to all who are in this dire predicament now. Now, I would say that this hurricane and its aftermath represent an existential threat to our society as we know it. People in life-threatening situations of isolation and deprivation mean that unless relief can reach them promptly and unless the necessary assistance can be found and distributed in an equitable and transparent manner to help them rebuild their lives, Jamaica is going to be facing very difficult times. And I think that point is not lost on anyone who is familiar with what is going on as I speak. In this context, we all need to pull together in unity to get Jamaica through this terrible disaster. This is a time to join hands and hearts, not just in words, but in deeds, so that the whole nation can feel part of responding positively to this devastating situation and the solutions that will help us to pull ourselves out of it. The opposition must not at this time be seeking to score political points as a political competitor of the government. This is not the time for the opposition to adopt that posture. And we are indeed trying our very best to operate in the spirit of that. On the other hand, we must point out where there are areas of need and what we see as the priorities in relation to those needs, where we see weaknesses in the response mechanisms that need strengthening or correcting, and we must provide, where we can, constructive, well-intentioned suggestions to help navigate the country through this disaster. We must also demand transparency and fairness in the distribution of all relief. The relief must get to those who need it, prioritizing those who need it most, whether they be of whatever political color or whatever demographic group they may belong to. They're all Jamaicans, and they are to be treated equally in this time without any form of discrimination or tribal politics coming into it. And we want to stand for that. There can be no place for partisanship or profiteering by political insiders or others connected to them at a time like this. It requires good governance, inclusive governance, authentic communication, and everyone working together. I now move to some of the things that I wish to propose in this regard. I have proposed to the Prime Minister from last week, Wednesday, that he should establish a broad-based task force to be given the responsibility of governance oversight over the relief effort, the relief coming in, how it is dealt with, how it is distributed, not to manage that process on a day-to-day basis, but to provide oversight to those who are managing it. So there's some accountability for how it's done, and that accountability is being held by a broad-based group that can enjoy the support and confidence of the whole society, especially those who are suffering terribly now and no doubt fear that they may not be treated fairly or they may be ignored or overlooked in the response of the state to the crisis. I also think there needs to be a clear command structure for the actual day-to-day management of the response to the relief. And that should be led, in my opinion, by professionals in disaster management, not by politicians who do not know the ins and outs of responding to a disaster of this magnitude. And we should not be shy of seeking international support and help from persons who have career expertise and experience in this regard. Thirdly, we're going to need a Marshall Plan, a well-funded, broad-based plan for the rebuilding and reconstruction of large swathes of Jamaica, which have been ravaged by this hurricane. That plan cannot be developed today, But it is vital that we prepare such a plan and that it have the input of persons who have the necessary skills and experience and knowledge to design a comprehensive, workable plan that can be executed efficiently and that can have the confidence of our international partners we are going to rely on heavily to provide the financial support for this. And in terms of more specific recommendations now, I have asked the Prime Minister to make an additional allocation of resources to members of Parliament so that they can mobilize communities and contractors to help with the cleaning up of communities that are currently in a state of devastation, clearing roads where necessary, cutting trees and the like. Until that allocation is made, members of Parliament are unable to respond to the needs of the people unless they happen to have some personal resources or access to dealing with it outside of the public system, and many do not have that. I would also say that the process of engaging contractors to do that kind of work should be simplified and made easy for members of Parliament, especially in those areas where there's very limited connectivity and where following the normal bureaucratic processes that are required would be very challenging or impossible for members of Parliament. If contractors have a TRN, whatever the allocation is, there should be invoices, and those invoices can be submitted, but the work should be able to begin. Secondly, we note and agree with the decision to suspend the imposition of import duties and import GCT on disaster relief items coming into Jamaica. However, we believe that the period for which this has been announced is too short, because the time it takes to mobilize funding and make the necessary procurement abroad, the logistics, etc., of getting it shipped to points on land where they can then be shipped or flown to Jamaica takes some time. And to have it cut off by the end of this month is too short. And it's also not clear from the announcement that was made whether goods in transit to Jamaica will get the benefit, even if they haven't landed here at the time of the expiry of the window. I'm suggesting that we recast that window in a way which is more realistic, given the situation that we face. I also think we need an evacuation plan urgently for persons who are without shelter. That needs to be well thought through so that persons can be moved to places of safety where whatever form of accommodation can be erected to support them, whether it be tents or something else that can be put in place, and they can have access to the basic means of survival in an organized way. And that is necessary because right now we have people, many, many Jamaicans who are exposed to the elements, including babies, including children, including the elderly, including persons with disabilities, and they need to be moved to accommodation which protects them from the ravages of the elements going forward. Those are my thoughts, and I'm now going to hand over to the next MP who is going to address more specific concerns in their particular constituency. I thank you.
Thank you, Party Leader. Greetings all. I'm Isa Buchanan, MP for Portland Eastern, also the spokesperson for Youth and Human Rights. I speak on behalf of the people on the eastern side of Jamaica. I'm setting the context to say that equity in distribution is going to be an important theme if we are to ensure that all persons in Jamaica are not excluded or left out, but rather inclusion. Now in Portland, this is a direct message from the constituents. Port Antonio is not all of Portland. So in saying that, I want people to understand that there was devastation in Portland Eastern. In particular, the Fellowship Division, which is a valley area, Melissa did serious damage in that area. There are persons who, the roofs are all gone. It's similar in the Mansion Hill Division. So there are persons who are homeless as we speak. I raise this in the context that persons have an ability to try to survive. They try their best to ensure that they move on with their life. It's almost an innate ability these days. But I want the government to understand that when persons are building back their houses and just taking up zincs that probably don't even belong to them to ensure that they have a roof over their heads, they can't wait. It's impossible to wait until somebody comes to say, okay, I see the damage. We will process your claim and then give you some support. That support is in the sum of $50,000, $100,000, $400,000 if it's complete destruction. And if you are a Jamaican and you want to be a homeowner, you know the reality that $400,000 will never be able to put you back in the position that would make you a homeowner or in livable, humane conditions. So when I speak of equity of distribution, although Melissa didn't hit at ground zero in the east, we are an island surrounded by water, especially if you're a coastline parish like Portland, Eastern, St. Thomas, Portland, Eastern and Western, all of Portland and all of St. Thomas. But if we speak of the constituency, I'm not going to sit here or stand here and say that MPs who are not in those ground zeros aren't affected, because we all are. As it is right now, we are a country where resources are scarce. The opposition leader would have reached out to the Prime Minister and there was an allocation. What does that allocation look like? I can only tell you from the lived experience that from a human rights perspective, if you get $1.5 million, that amounts to no more than 600 care packages and probably 22 tarpaulins. Why am I speaking on this? Because it would mean that if you are a member of parliament and you had persons voting for you in the amount of 8,000 plus persons, these are persons that have been affected, and whether you know it or not, it's not just the elderly, it's not just women and children, they're able-bodied persons who live day to day. And I'm just using that as a starting point because I'm saying this, it is not the time to be political. You can't see color, you can't see political parties. You have to understand that on a human rights plane, the needs of everybody will be important. And we might not know it now, but what Friday will look like in terms of how you source your meal, it won't be a laughable situation. We must look at what is happening across Jamaica. And while we start to think of how resources are distributed, I will yield to my senior, Natalie, to Comrade Natalie, to speak about distribution and all of that. But what I will say, though, is what is of great importance is that we are to go to the bare minimum and think of the human rights realities. There are persons who are ill, who their medication has to be on the refrigerator. They need energy and they don't have it. So 7 days have passed thereabout, and that medical access is not a reality because I've heard Portland is not a priority. I've heard that. And that is a sad reality because I have the evidence in terms of looking at the photos, the pictures, being on the ground in Mansion Hill, being on the ground in Reach, being in Fellowship. I'm just naming a few: Bellevue, Comfort Castle, Millbank, where there are just total devastation, disaster, persons who are from the disabilities community. the disabled community, and they don't have a home. The shelters aren't in operation. It's not a continuation of it. Persons have to go far places. So I need people to understand that. And when it comes to the distribution, yes, ODPEM is there. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security and care packages are going out, but I want you to quantify the reality. Is that if you have 300 care packages, that can just go to even one community, and it will. While I stand as a member of Parliament of Portland Eastern, and I can do so much and no more with the resources, and I understand when it comes to the concept of support Jamaica and funneling all resources through the government, that is an impossibility and not realistic. So much so that I have gone on by taking guidance from the diaspora to start a GoFundMe. And it is the diaspora from Portland and persons who are concerned that have raised funds for me to be able to do things that the government is not yet prepared to do. I will just say, think of every single person, because that is my duty as a humanitarian, as a human rights attorney, and even as a spokesperson for human rights and youth. And I will make a compassionate call to all members of Parliament that we are to work collectively through our offices. I will reach out to anybody that's close by, because I get the calls that my family is stuck in Westmoreland and I haven't heard of them. Same for St. Elizabeth, because we're all Jamaicans and we all have relatives across the island, and we are to think on those things. And when we think of equity of distribution, let nobody be excluded. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Salika Jess, Member of Parliament for Northeastern St. Elizabeth. There has been quite a lot of attention being paid to Southern St. Elizabeth. Unfortunately, Northeastern St. Elizabeth has been left devastated by the passage of Hurricane Melissa. It has been almost 1 week since the hurricane, and regrettably, not one government official has actually visited Northeastern St. Elizabeth. Now, this is a constituency that has been ravaged. We're talking about entire communities that have lost their roofs, lost their homes. Communities such as Thornton, Windsor, in the Silo area, Bagdale Mountain. There are entire communities where absolutely no home was spared. When you look at the devastation, we're not just talking about it from the home perspective. We're talking about the road network, or roads, especially in the interior of the constituency, have been substantially and completely damaged. We have roads which have burst open, leaving craters almost 20 feet deep. I have communities which have been marooned. There's no way for them to enter or exit. I have residents reaching out to me to say that they can't get out of their community, and they have elderly persons who need to see a doctor and they can't leave. I went in search of a community yesterday known as Mariba, and I spent over 2 hours driving around and could not find the community of Mariba. I say all of this to say to you that the devastation has been extremely great in Northeastern St. Elizabeth. And as a Member of Parliament, I have reached out to the government for assistance in getting persons who are marooned access so that they can actually leave their communities or enter elsewhere. I have been told by the government that as a Member of Parliament, I cannot engage with private contractors to have their roads cleared or to have their roads put in a place where they can leave or enter their community. And so I have been faced with a difficult decision where I have to choose whether I obey the rules as they currently stand in which case it means that residents will be left stranded and trapped and unable to leave, even in cases of emergency. People will not be able to have access to food, water, or I make the other difficult decision, which is to go against the government's dictates and actually engage contractors to put together the roadway as best as possible so that access can be had. I have chosen the latter. And so I hope and I pray that the government will actually make some allocation available to members of parliament in the affected constituencies. I am calling on the government to include the members of parliament, to engage with us, and very importantly, to empower us to help the people who are depending on us because they don't have the numbers for the government ministers, they have the numbers for their members of parliament, and they're reaching out and begging and crying out for help. I'm asking that the government consider making an allocation, particularly to the members of parliament in the deeply affected communities, constituencies, where it's not just a case of clearing the roadways, it's a case of actually engaging professionals who can fill the gaps and the craters and make a way where there is no way, even if it is just on a temporary basis. The hurricane has wreaked substantial damage, and it's important that there is equitable distribution of resources. I have received only 150 care packages from the government for distribution. That doesn't even last one lane in one community because everybody has been affected in most communities. So it's not just the elderly or the disabled, it is everybody who is affected. And so I'm calling on the government to engage and to engage as a matter of urgency so that the relief that is necessary can be had. Thank you.
So I will speak of the experience from St. James, and after which Dr. Dawes will speak about the health crisis and Natalie about coordination. When last I checked, we lost 5 lives in South St. James to Hurricane Melissa. And I speak not only as a person reading or hearing about what's happening in South St. James and in Jamaica, but as someone from South St. James who was on the ground from Wednesday. I left the constituency last night this morning at 2 a.m. to be a part of this press conference because as the chief spokesperson for the people of South St. James, I think it is my duty to get out of the largest constituency in St. James, of the parish. The other 4 constituencies share the other 48%. We're vast. We meet Westmoreland, Hanover, Trelawney, and 2 other constituencies, West Central and East Central St. James. To enter the constituency, traditionally, we use 5 different routes. We have only been able to clear 1 route into South St. James, and that is through Long Hill to Anchovy Mafuta, Barnet Bush to take you up to Garland's, Moko, Maroontown, or you go right at Fern, Plum, Cambridge to go as far as you can until you're stopped by downed power lines, poles, landslides, and rivers. Yes, the 7 Rivers has taken the road we have in the Bickerstead Copperwood plantation area. We still have communities that are marooned and do not have access to food. And when I say no access to food, what I mean is that when we advised them to go to a shelter like the shelter at Cambridge High School, we told them that we were advised by the government that food would come after the storm, which was a mistake because some went in from as early as Monday of last week and they have not had food up till now. We were able to send a little boat across, a little blow-up boat across the roadway to get to some, and they got food for one night because the boat couldn't hold much more. We have seen the helicopters flying in the sky above us in South St. James, but most times they're going to St. Elizabeth or Westmoreland. They're going to the sexy places where disaster grief is big profit and big public relations opportunities. In South St. James, we're farmers, we're humble people, we don't like to beg, but I'm appealing on our behalf because we need urgently food for our people who are marooned in places like Catadupa, in Jungle, in Awful Gully. We're calling for help for people in Retrieve, where we join Eastern Westmoreland, because they were only able to get their dead out of the community just 2 days ago. We're asking to have the health authorities come in because the cows are still floating, the goats are still floating in the waters that have taken and submerged communities like Spring Bottom in the Roehampton area. 2-story high houses are still underwater. We have a coaster bus, you know the height of that is still submerged along the roadway to Cambridge. Based on my estimation, over 70% of the housing stock, the business, the livestock, the agriculture has been lost in South St. James. And when I go to the community, I don't know what to say to them because they ask me, MP, you see my house, it was right here, it's no longer here, what do I do? I tell them that I have not yet gotten word from the government, right? To tell us how we're gonna help them to rebuild and to get their lives back together, right? So, we're not asking because we are greedy. We're asking because the collaboration and the coordination on the ground is not reaching our people in South St. James. When I'm able to bring 2 bags of food like I did last night to the school at Malden High, they were not able to make breakfast this morning because it could only last 1 day. I'm asking you to help us to airlift some food into the communities, to get the sick people out of the homes and into the hospital. We have some pregnant mothers. We were able to get to the hospital at Cornwall Regional just yesterday. Her baby was not moving anymore in her belly, right? We have an urgent need in South St. James, and I know everybody is trying. All I'm asking is don't forget South St. James in all of this, because we are proud farmers and we want to get back with our lives, but we need the donations to come to us too. We don't want to stay left behind because we're deep rural. You're gonna hear now from Dr. Dawes about the health conditions because the mosquitoes are killing us already in South St. James, and then MP Natalie Nita.
Good afternoon. Dr. Alfred Dawes, Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Catherine and Shadow Minister of Health and Wellness. When Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica, it was a catastrophic natural disaster. If we continue on this path where the government maintains hegemony over the distribution of aid and access to the most vulnerable communities by volunteers, if they try to do it alone, we will have an even more catastrophic man-made disaster. We are seeing a humanitarian crisis unfold before our very eyes. Ground zero was in Eastern Westmoreland, a parish that I'm very familiar with, and the devastation that is seen there and in St. Elizabeth and in other parts of Westmoreland, St. James, Hanover, and St. Elizabeth overall. It is mind-boggling. No pictures or videos can do justice for what you see when you're driving miles and miles. The smells of rotting carcasses, the flooded roads. Healthcare has been teetering on the border of collapse because of the situation at Cornwall Regional Hospital and the overcrowding in the feeder hospitals. What we're seeing now is an exacerbation of that situation, where Lucy Hospital, Noel Holmes Hospital, is pretty much non-functional. Up to over the weekend, there was no way of contacting hospitals for referrals. They would just get critical patients as fast as possible, loaded into an ambulance and send them off with a hope and a prayer and what limited staff they can afford to send on that journey. The Black River Hospital has been devastated, and Salvamar Hospital, they have major infrastructural challenges, but even more so, the staff, they are also homeless. They are also living out of cars. Many of them are hungry, and many persons cannot provide health care because they do not have the resources. We appreciate that the government has now opened the NHS stores and has started to send out supplies. But we must not be fooled into thinking that a field hospital being set up means that it is an appropriate response to a catastrophe of this nature. A hospital is secondary care. There is no primary care in any of the affected parishes at the moment. This means that the clinics are closed. It means that diabetics, hypertensives, persons with heart disease, kidney disease, those who have a diabetic foot ulcer, they are not being treated. And it means that they are going to have exacerbations and complications of their diseases. And already we are seeing where those who have access to the hospitals have been flooding the hospitals. We will see in the ensuing weeks an increase in mosquito-borne diseases. Within 6 weeks, we can expect outbreaks of dengue and whatever else is lying around, waiting for these appropriate conditions to manifest. The public health inspectors, they need to be empowered immediately so that they can start their food safety checks. They can inspect for water sources that they are potable, they have not been contaminated. Basic materials such as food, temperature, thermometers must be provided. We must increase vector control activities immediately. And this is not just fogging, but source control. Otherwise, we're going to see a massive outbreak of dengue. The gastroenteritis from the consumption of spoiled foods, already we hear reports of persons eating rotted or rotting carcasses. And the unavailability of potable water will lead to diarrhea, dehydration, and in the most vulnerable, the elderly, the children, and the pregnant mothers, it may mean death. We do not know what the true death toll is from the hurricane, but what we can expect is that if these public health issues are not addressed immediately, we're going to see far more deaths occurring in the aftermath of the storm, in this man-made disaster, than what occurred during the passage of Melissa, the natural disaster we're here to speak about. We must head this off. We must resource the hospitals. We must send relief staff to the hospitals. We must find a way to get healthcare in the communities that have been cut off up to recently and are still cut off. And the way we may fill that gap is by inviting and coordinating the hordes of volunteers who want to go in and give some health care. Medical missions have played a very important part in the provision of health care in far-flung communities. And it is this provision of primary care, the screening, the early intervention with the medications, the dressing of wounds, that have kept many persons from seeking health care at overcrowded hospitals. If we have dilapidated structures, if we have damaged structures that are understaffed, it is reasonable to ask that volunteers be coordinated to go and man these health centers in the rural communities through the different medical missions. So these things must be coordinated immediately. Organizations that want to donate food and especially water they must be accommodated. I've had complaints and I have tested the system myself, and I don't want to be overly critical. That is not the tone I want to project here today. But those who want to give are being frustrated by the process. And what is happening is that they are trying to make the journey themselves. The roads are blocked up. On our mission on Saturday, one of the buses broke down and the relief bus took about 4 or 5 hours to make what would normally be a 2-hour trip to relieve the staff that were left on that bus. The roads have been congested, and it is frustrating persons who want to donate, but we must set up a proper distribution network so that those who are impacted the most, irrespective of their antecedents, they get the resources that they need. It means not simply focusing on one particular area, but accepting that this hurricane tore through the entire Western Jamaica, and we must not ignore the plight of those who are in one parish. If the information that came to us through the media came late and our attentions were already fixed on a particular area that was brought to the forefront of our consciousness. So in conclusion, my appeal is that we find a way to facilitate the donors of foodstuff, sundries, health supplies, and importantly, find a way to channel those who want to give service in the medical field so that we can organize relief missions to go to the communities that Nikisha spoke about, that Zulika spoke about, and others are bringing to the forefront of the nation's consciousness. We have to get medical missions into those communities, and we have to, they are coming with their resources, but there needs to be a greater collaboration between those entities and the government and the state agencies, as well as the opposition, because we have made ourselves available to work alongside the government. So again, we do not want to convert a natural disaster into a man-made disaster because of partisanship, but we should focus more on partnership. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. After a disaster like Hurricane Melissa, the most powerful tool we have is unity. When we are united in purpose, government and opposition, national and local leaders, NGOs, community groups, and private citizens, recovery happens faster. Resources are used better, and help reaches everyone who needs it. Disasters do not discriminate by constituency, status, or color. And so our response must also rise above any division. This is a time for collective responsibility. We all have a role to play. Government agencies, first responders, the private sector, faith-based organizations, non-governmental organizations, and our community leaders all have a part in building back stronger. When we bring our strengths together, we save lives, reduce harm, and make every recovery effort stronger and fairer. But unity must be matched with preparedness. We have to learn from what went wrong. Our shelters must be ready and suitable to receive people before the storm, with basic supplies, pre-positioned, and shelter managers available, trained, and ready to serve. In some instances across Jamaica, the list of shelter managers included persons who were deceased, had migrated, or were simply unwilling to serve. These are gaps we must correct. We must draw on the best practices of experts so that our communities become more resilient to future hazards. That means ensuring all stakeholders have a seat at the table. It means and includes government at both levels, our councillors, our mayors, our justices of the peace, and all who serve as stakeholders at the local level must have a seat at the table, including our opposition, who has not been included in any of these meaningful disaster preparedness or operational meetings. It is important at this time that all the logistics, all the utility companies, the private sector, the insurers, the small businesses, the donors and international agencies, that there must be a coordinated effort to make our recovery stronger. The media and communication platforms, academic institutions and technical experts, most importantly, our vulnerable groups and survivors themselves must have a seat at the table. When we work together, the benefits are clear. Lives are saved and harm is reduced through coordinated action. Needs are prioritized and duplication avoided so that no community is left behind. Resources are used efficiently by pooling transport, storage, and funding. Expertise is shared, combining technical skills and local knowledge. Vulnerable groups are protected, including children, the elderly, and persons with disabilities. Public safety and essential services are restored faster, helping communities to recover. And most importantly, trust is built because people can see fairness and transparency. If we are to build true resilience, collaboration cannot happen only in crisis. It must be part of how we operate every day. That means maintaining open communication channels, sharing information, coordinating resources, and planning together before the next disaster strikes. The opposition stands ready to work with the government to strengthen our systems and ensure that every Jamaican, wherever they live, can depend on fair and transparent support in times of need. Let us commit to building partnerships and putting people first. When we work together, Jamaica is stronger, and we lead with compassion, coordination, and accountability. Recovery is not just possible, it is inevitable. Thank you.
So we'll now open the floor for questions. If you have questions, please state the name of your media house. If you're online, you can indicate by using the raised hand icon. If you're in the room, please indicate, we'll get the microphone to you and we'll take your question.
Greetings. This question is for Mr. Buchanan and Ms. Jess. All right, so I heard you speak about the relief supplies not being enough. Do you think that there is an act of sabotage at play there, any at all, in both constituencies or anywhere else, as a matter of fact?
Right, so I'll answer.
Sorry, I'm Jason Cross from the Jamaica Observer.
Thank you, Jason. I'll speak from Portland Eastern. I don't buy into conspiracy theories. If and I have no facts that there's an act or acts of sabotage. I will say if that were the case, that would be very idiotic. But we're living a real experience, and at this time, even before the hurricane, there were persons that were suffering from food insecurity. That is the Jamaican reality. I'm just simply here to say, listen, Tomorrow, we are go hungry. Let me put it that way. And next week, we are go hungrier. And a hungry man is a hungry man. So if somebody is sabotaging, woe be unto you. Thank you.
In the case of northeastern St. Elizabeth, I suspect it is perhaps a situation where the government has their hands entirely full. I think it's quite an overwhelming situation having to deal with an unprecedented act of nature. We've never had a Category 5 hurricane, and so I would hope that no one in their right mind and operating with good heart could deliberately wish to punish residents by withholding food and other basic necessities. So I hope it is an oversight and not that which you have suggested.
Good afternoon, Camille Williams with Television Jamaica and Radio Jamaica 94 FM. I have two questions, and this goes out to, because this is about MPs, anyone I think can take this. So the first question is, how much money would MPs need to adequately respond to the need? And this is each. How much would each MP?
I understand what you mean. I hesitate to attempt to answer that with a specific number. The scale of the damage is unprecedented. It's not yet quantified. And it differs from constituency to constituency. So it doesn't permit of one answer per constituency. There is, however, a threshold that I think MPs could handle adequately and which could make a huge difference because of their connections on the ground. I think it's important for Jamaica to understand that members of parliament on both sides, councillors on both sides, have networks into communities in every nook and cranny of the country. They're very large national organizations that are not centralized in the capital like government is. They're diffused and they're across the island. And the information can flow. Once there's connectivity, the information as to where the needs are flows very quickly and easily, right through up to me, if necessary, as leader, or the Prime Minister, I'm sure. So empowering members of parliament, as long as there are accountability measures in place to ensure that the money or the goods are accounted for adequately and properly, using that structure and the councillors is a very effective way of getting to people in need. We will partner with local organizations who we have relationships with on a day-to-day basis, churches in communities and other organizations on the ground to cover the ground where needed. Now, in terms of the amount of money, what has been proposed, we got 1.5 million allocated on the Saturday before the Melissa hit. I had reached out to the Prime Minister that morning about it. We had a meeting at OPM about it. We discussed it, and he said he was authorizing $1.5 million as a kind of pre-Melissa effort to prepare us to have something. And that was useful, and we did our best to prepare ourselves with that. Tarpaulins, water, foodstuffs. But of course, the scale of this is so much greater than any of us anticipated, really, because we haven't experienced it before. That really needs to be replenished. I've been in dialogue with him. I believe he's going to announce another 1.5. I think Cabinet was supposed to, for relief purposes, and they're looking at a $3 million for issues to do with cleaning up and the like. I've said to him that the bureaucracy, the administrative requirements as to how you spend that $3 million, and please, public, bear in mind, we don't get this in cash. These are allocations that allow us to trust, as it were, the services, the food stuff from suppliers, and then we send invoices to a state agency who pay them directly. We don't handle any cash. Now, 3 million, when you're faced with thousands of people who are homeless, is not an answer to that question. And I'm not sure that for the major, well, I should put it this way, for the major response to the housing and shelter needs of the people. And even the food and water needs, the MPs cannot be the sole solution. We don't have the capacity to deal with housing needs on that scale. That needs a national reconstruction program with a proper governance structure attached to it and well-resourced. But certainly, if you were to give MPs even $50 million each, that would be something we would be able to make that money count for the people and the people who need it. I'm just throwing that out as a number, but it's many, many multiples of the figures that are being discussed now. And one has to bear in mind the resource capacity of the country as well. And the government is in the best position to assess what that is. So, we're getting, hopefully, the CRIF payments which have been committed, and we're expecting that the CAT bonds will also make a payment. The government hasn't yet confirmed that, though the media has been suggesting that it's a done deal. I hope it is, but we're waiting on the confirmation. And there are other funds that were in the budget and so on for national disasters. But bear in mind at the same time that there's been a calamitous hit to the economy. So going forward, we're going to see a contraction of the economy. We're going to see a contraction of government revenues. We're going to see a contraction of foreign exchange flows, potentially. On a net basis, with those flows coming in from insurance and so on, it's difficult to know where we stand. But I'm just saying the government has to assess that situation. But this is an unprecedented disaster. And I would be modification of the measurement of GDP.
So we're listening to the press conference, seeing the signal that is coming in kind of freezing up.
We were supposed to get to the target of 60% of GDP this year, even though the law says we don't need to get there until March 2028.
So, right, so this is just one case. However, I would figure perhaps this might be a situation elsewhere. My question
We're seeing that feed being dropped there.
is, have you been seeing the issue of political partisanship affecting the distribution of relief? And I say this based on the conversation I had with a resident who said that a care package truck came to the community twice.
Is going on. And that's why it's so important that the structure, the command structure to manage the distribution of relief is not an ad hoc thing where a minister get a phone call and respond here, and then somebody else tug him shirt and him respond there. It needs a structure. It needs clear lines of communication. Right now, but I don't have any official way of addressing those complaints. I have to be drawing on my contacts and so on. I got a report yesterday that 8 people were dead in a community in St. Elizabeth, and they were planning to do a mass burial because they're cut off. I can give you the name of the community. It's in my phone. I have reported it, which is not practical because he can't handle every single report. There is no proper command structure in place. They've put in the same old system that has applied under their leadership, a broad-based system with leaders from the private sector, leaders from the churches, leaders from the NGO sector. The opposition should be at the table. Roughly half of the country leadership in the past. And I'm saying, listen, this is bigger than all that. This is much, much bigger than all that. And we need to have something that the people can have confidence in, a broad-based system with leaders from the private sector, leaders from the churches, leaders from the NGO sector. The opposition should be at the table. Roughly half of the country that are interested in the system of democracy voted for the opposition. And, so to exclude us is not wise because you're going to deprive yourselves of vital information, especially given that some of the most badly hit areas are areas where our representatives have been voted into office. So the structure needs to be put in place that's broad-based. There needs to be proper.
Thank you.
There's a question here online from Portland Spice TV. Are there members of the parliamentary opposition on the committees put together by the government to deal with the aftermath of the hurricane? The leader of the opposition addressed that, I believe. No, I was advised that I need to speak with someone as the elected representative to beg them to appeal on my behalf. So no, we're not at the table. We're not on these committees. We also have online Siobhan Campbell. His hand is raised. Siobhan, please unmute and go ahead with your question. Then we'll take another question from the room. Go ahead, Siobhan.
Go ahead, yeah.
All right. While we get Siobhan ready, we'll take another question from the room.
Good afternoon, everybody. Zara Burton with 18 Degrees North. Asking about your CDF funds. 20 million, I believe, is the allocation each MP. Have those been used up in your constituencies? Can they be deployed ASAP? I'm just wondering, just generally, I have another question after that, but just generally speaking, can you get that accelerated in any way, or are there certain rules holding you back?
Okay, so for members of parliament who have returned, you might or might not still have CDF funds remaining. And if you do, it may or may not be accessible based on what it was programmed to do. So there are specific procedures to follow to be able to get funds to do mitigation works. And if you did not have a mitigation fund set aside, then you wouldn't have access to any of it. In the case of new members of parliament, the outgoing member of parliament might have utilized all of those funds already, and the new member of parliament won't have access to a new allocation until March of next year, after the new budget period has ended. You also would have to wait until, if you do have the funds and you need to, I believe that the opposition leader did include in his presentation a call for the reduction in the bureaucracy across the board.
But not for CDF.
I would just add to that, just for public information, how the CDF works is a $20 million annual allocation per constituency. 1.5 of that is for admin support. So it's really 18.5 that's available to be spent. There are certain heads of activities that you must allocate that 18.5 across: welfare, social housing, economic enablement, sports, education, etc. And then you have to design programs which have to go to a parliamentary committee and get approved for each of those. So the whole 8.5 million has to be approved by Parliament before you can get access to it. Now, there has been no decision to modify those rules. What has happened, that 1.5 million that was allocated on Saturday was an addition to the CDF. So it is being spent through the CDF processes, and the same agencies that normally would apply will receive the invoices from the suppliers of the food, water, tarpaulins, etc., and make those payments. They did not require parliamentary approval for that. I guess cabinet approved it. So I don't think there's much, if anything, available in the 20 million allocation that can be really used. Some people may have some funding for housing. And for example, I have asked whether for what I have in my constituency, which is available for housing, if we can use it for the responding to the needs of people. Right now, a lot of people in Jamaica have leaking roofs, a lot of roof damage. There's a huge demand for zinc and other roofing materials. So I've written to the CDF to ask if we can use, if my constituency can use those funds for that. And they have indicated that we can. So, they need to broaden that, and that all 63 MPs have that, a facility available. In relation to the $3 million that the PM said would be approved today by Cabinet, or he was expecting it would, I have said, as I said in my opening presentation, rather than go through the normal bureaucracy for that, where you have to get NWA to approve the specific works, they have to send somebody to look at it, and then you have to write them and nominate who the contractor is, because it's below the threshold where it has to go to tender if it's only $3 million, and they can't do anything until that. I'm saying for many of the MPs in these areas, there's no connectivity. So to require them to go through all those just to clear some roads and chop up some trees is really, it's excessive. So what I would suggest is that we just allow a situation where contractors who have a TRN can issue an invoice, the work can be done, and that invoice is then sent for reimbursement in due course.
I also had one more question. This was for Dr. Dawes. Health, mosquito-borne diseases. I know you mentioned it in your presentation that there is a possibility that we will be getting sicknesses come through like dengue. I wanted to know if, as of right now, whether you have heard of any cases of these mosquito-borne illnesses as of yet, and also, I know you mentioned, I think, fogging. I think you may have used a different term, but vector control. What other measures, given the fact that you said that they're coming, what other measures would be necessary to mitigate against that at this point? Because as I think somebody else mentioned, there's some carcasses in different streams, water bodies.
Everywhere. There's water ponding all over those parishes, and there's dead animals all over the place, rocks.
So the question is that posing a health risk as well? And so if you could just address some of the things that, in addition to what you said about vector control, what else from a medical perspective would be necessary to mitigate against those diseases, and also dealing with these dead carcasses and even dead human bodies too that are not claimed?
So what we are faced with now is a public health crisis in the making. We speak about the ponding of water, these water reservoirs that are caused by the receding floods. We do have a very fertile breeding spot for mosquitoes. So we are going to see a massive increase in the mosquito population. And we know that Aedes aegypti, which transmits dengue as well as chickpea and Zika, that is native to all of the parishes that have been affected. With the Haitian migration that we are seeing coming in, we are at risk for malaria. We must consider that the rotting carcasses of animals can contaminate underground water supplies. If we have a contamination of underground water supplies, we're going to have a significant increase in the number of cases of gastroenteritis. We saw after the Haitian earthquake, there was a rise in cholera that was brought in by relief workers. We don't know if relief workers are coming in with other diseases as well. And we have an incubator now of persons who are living outdoors. They're prone to respiratory conditions, and they are prone to gastroenteritis as well as mosquito-borne diseases. So we have to address the breeding sites. That's going to be very difficult to do because of the large areas that have significant water pooling. Fogging can take place, but it is only a temporary measure. We have to get, as much as possible, mosquito repellents, mosquito nets out there for persons who are exposed to the elements. And we have to be testing water sources very regularly. We have to get the chlorine tablets, the water treatment solutions, as well as tablets.
and water. We need to get water. And with all of this, persons in the affected areas, they have to be advised of what to look out for, how to practice proper hygiene, how to, unfortunately, we have to say, isolate bodies so that they don't come in contact with decomposing bodies and they are exposed to infections. So unless we fix primary care immediately, we're going to see this disaster that is man-made if we don't do it right. And I choose that term carefully because if we can prevent a lot of this, if we get the teams out there, if we have a structured response, we get the public education out there, if we evacuate people out of those areas where they're at risk, and we get the potable water and proper food, the hygiene tools that are necessary to avoid these outbreaks. We can do it. There is hope, but we just have to do this the right way.
I just wanted to add one postscript to my answer to your question about the CDF. The CDF, as normally allocated, is not disaster relief funding. It is to help in the constituencies to make life a little easier for people who need help. With the scale of what we're facing, the existing allocation of 20 million cannot be even considered as a response. There needs to be special funding using the resources that have been made available from Jamaica's disaster relief financing structure and any additional resources that we are able to garner from the goodwill that Jamaica enjoys, which is significant across the world, to empower those entities, those people who are in a position to reach those who need help. And it can't be the CDF that's the answer to that.
And speaking as an incoming MP, we did start with $20 million. So it's whatever has been left behind by the MPs who preceded us.
Can I take the stage?
The rest of the year. Let's hear now.
My name is Colin Bell, Portland Spice TV. I have about 3 questions. I heard MP Jess said that she went in search of a community yesterday. Could you expound a little bit more on that for us, because you say you did not find that community? I also want to ask, does the People's National Party as a party can source assistance for the people who needs help? And of course, Comrade Natalie, do you think this is a stage where the Minister of Local Government needs to use that equalization fund to provide more funding for councillors? Thank you.
In that community. I also want to ask, does the People's National Party as a party can source assistance for the people who needs help? And of course, Comrade Natalie, do you think this is a stage where the Minister of Local Government needs to use that equalization fund to provide more funding for councillors? Thank you.
Jess first. So we'll go to Jess.
So when I mentioned that I could not find the community, I'm referring to the community of Mariba. And we started out by checking the access points to the community. So we went to one location where that is the road that should lead to Mariba, and there was no road. There were just crumbling asphalt. There was just debris of asphalt. We went to another location that should have been the other way to enter the community, and it was just totally impassable. Everything, the road was broken away, split totally. We were told that we may be able to find the community by going through a dirt road in the hills. And so we went into the hills trying to find the dirt road, took several dirt roads and could not find the community until further, about 2.5 hours later, we found a house, and they told us that if we continued to walk, as we couldn't drive, so if we continued to walk, would find another house further down, and they would have to call out the community to come to us because the community, they are trapped inside of the community. They are trapped in the community. So that is the reality on the ground. People are marooned and they can't get in and they can't get out. Thankfully, I've made arrangements for some heavy duty equipment to be brought into the area today to try and get them access. So hopefully I'll have better news later tonight.
Yes, so I believe that the local government system has an SGR, which is a facility that is provided to assist with emergencies. After dialogue with the local government minister, they were allowed, councillors and mayors are allowed to utilize some of what is available, if any, in their SGRs, which is their emergency funds. But I believe it's not enough. I believe the equalization fund can be utilized. So I'm answering you, yes, it can be utilized to empower our local government representatives as they are the first port of call. Everybody goes to the councillor first. Most times because they are living in the same communities with them. And so they should also be empowered, whether through the equalization fund or a special disbursement through the national budget at this time to be able to assist with what is happening on our parochial roads. So while we are engaged in clearing our main roads so that major vehicular traffic can go through, our community roads need to be cleared urgently because they can't get into major communities to be able to purchase food and to be able to have access to medication. And so there has to be a great emphasis at this time to empower our local government representatives to be able to respond quickly.
I think the second question was to do with the People's National Party and fundraising and so on for disaster relief. So in the last week or so, we have developed a capacity as a party to respond to the needs that we're seeing on the ground, and that our elected representatives at the local government, the councillors, and the national level, the MPs, are communicating to us. So we have the capacity to receive financial contributions locally and from overseas, and we have relationships that we've developed with established charities that would import and make the relief supplies available for distribution. And we're putting in a structure for this with an accountability element because we want to account for every dollar received and every item received and distributed. And the treasurer of the party is helping to design this. She has been managing this process for the past week, and we're bringing on additional human resources to give support so we can have a robust mechanism for anyone who wants to assist through our portal. Now, I gather that there's some thought among the government that they want to stop anything coming in other than through ODPEM and the state system. I would caution against that. I think that people have their preferences, donors have their preferences. Let us not deny any Jamaican in need the opportunity to receive a benefit which a donor would be inclined to provide for them through a particular channel by saying everything has to go through the state channel. I think there should be coordination. I think we should collaborate and share information as long as that is on an open basis and there's genuine sharing of information. But I don't think we should just restrict this whole relief to one channel because that is going to result in people not benefiting as much or at all from what is available. And so I encourage the government to rethink that if that is indeed the way they've been thinking.
Okay, let's try once more for Siobhan. Siobhan, please unmute and we'll take your question.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Hearing you well.
Good afternoon, Siobhan Campbell, Nationwide News. I have just two quick questions to the opposition leader. You said that the matter at hand is not one of politics. And while we understand the suggestions you've put forward, is it wise then to have a press conference of this nature, which essentially raises the matter to a political discussion? And second, there is a criticism that is going around suggesting that the opposition is attempting to govern from the opposition benches. How do you address that?
Well, the opposition cannot govern the country. We don't have any authority or status in governing the country. The civil service respond to cabinet. We are not part of that system. And all state agencies ultimately respond to ministers who are in cabinet. So that point is really nonsense. But the first issue about whether this is political, we are sharing information with the public. We have information which is important. We have ideas which we feel are important. And we feel that, that there's nothing, as long as we're approaching this in a spirit of national unity and to help Jamaica come out of a desperate situation, we ought to and should share our ideas with the public. And that's what we're doing. We haven't today attempted to criticize the government. We have made suggestions. We've pointed out where there are weaknesses, but we're not seeking to criticize the government at all at this point in time, because this is not the time for that. This is a time for us as an opposition to work with the government if they will let us. And if they won't let us, we will still work in the interest of the nation as a whole, Labourite and PNP, because we are all Jamaicans and we want Jamaica to recover from this. If we don't pull together, our corner dark. So let us pull together as one people and use the best resources available to us, the best thinking available to us, the best organizational skills available to us, with a common heart for the interests of the people who are suffering right now.
And there's no better note to end this press conference. If you go home tonight and you can lay your head on a dry pillow, if when you look up you don't see stars, you are blessed. We in the West, we need your help. Pray for us. Pray for Jamaica, land we love. Have a good evening.
Absolutely, opposition leader Mark Colin. And you would expect that kind of question from where it came from. You heard the name and you heard the media house that that question came from, you know. Oh boy. The opposition trying to govern from the opposition bench. Stupidity, rubbish, garbage. If you're in a position that the opposition is trying to govern, then it might mean you're not governing. It might mean that the government is failing. Because if you're doing your job, you know, and doing a good job of it, a guy can't try go on like him or govern because you're out there do your thing. We see the problem. It is there in our faces. Marshy, good evening.
Colin.
Yes, sir.
What them take the question from Siobhan, sir?
Well, you know, sometimes you need to hear the rubbish that come out of them people them out, you know, bro.
What a disgusting set of people them, man.
Yeah, man.
Eh?
Yeah, man. Sometimes you need to hear the rubbish that comes from them.
And listen, you realize that the PNP is taking things easy with the government, because when the question asks about if bias or unfair business, you see how the opposition dance around it, try not to make things look a certain way. And decent. We know that it is happening.
Too decent, brother.
Too decent. We know that the thing are going on and the PNP yet a play cool. And this damn idiot from you see I look like handicapped? That's the question. He never have no other question. So, when I want to say things like where the program looks like it. My God, here, man.
You see, they are trying to publicize the thing, Marshy. To politicize the thing.
The politics.
Them are play the politics. But the people of Jamaica will see, you know.
But the international media seeing it.
Yes, man. I heard some heavy criticism in the international media of the government. I heard a journalist this morning say, get in here. If we get here, then you should be able to get here.
But listen to me, Colin.
No, but you
You
saw
have
Nikisha
helicopter. You're
Burchell.
not in land to give people.
You don't
You're
realize.
not in land to give people relief.
You don't realize that Nikisha almost break down.
She was crying. She was because she feel it when she said she can't help her people. Them.
It's rough, brother.
It's sad, man. It's sad. You can't have helicopter and talk about you can't reach people to give them relief. Don't talk that. You're talking nonsense. Any leader said that should get his head examined.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. As I don't remember who said the sexy places are the Westmoreland and the St. Elizabeth. But nobody no mention no member on a country. And the government have to step up to the plate. They have to step up.
Yes, man.
And
because the government behaving as if St. Elizabeth alone get licked.
Yeah.
And even section of the media, they don't want to talk about Westmoreland. You know, Mark Wallen did go foreign and said the media had been bought out by the JLP and people criticize him.
Yes, he was criticized heavily.
It is a fact. TVJ need to step up. TVJ need to put out more. I want to tell you something. Well, the hospital of Westmoreland, what again?
The one at Westmoreland? Which hospital?
Yeah, you get mashed up too.
No, it's the one at Black River, I think, mash up, you know.
Yeah, but what happened to Westmoreland?
That hospital is what? That's the Newell Holmes Hospital?
I don't
remember. I have a check. But you realize Dayton was supposed to be on this press conference. You realize him never did there?
Can't reach.
Dung the terrible.
It's terrible.
When I was trying to weave my way out of there Friday night, I buck up on Dayton and Ian Hills. I buck up on them on the roadside. I see them. And, you know, the thing heavy down there. It's heavy.
It's the thing one way, man.
It's heavy.
The thing one way, man.
Somebody saying that every hospital in the West mash up.
Yeah. But let me tell you something. You've been a handicap too bad for you because many of us in life been handicapped. But you ever look on Seven can be good? And you hear a question when I ask, you see that blasted handicap coming to play politics, about opposition, one lead from the bench.
So the opposition should not have a press conference and talk about the places that have not been mentioned because you don't hear Portland mash up on the news, you know.
You don't hear that. You don't hear that.
You don't hear that.
And me know Portland get beaten and Darrell Valls think it hard to even come out and talk to West Portland get a beaten.
Listen.
You don't respect the people them over there, so.
We got damage in Bellevue, Cornwall Barracks, Comfort Castle, Mansion Hill. You heard Isaac Buchanan talk about it. But Marshall, we talk, yeah?
Yes.
I take some calls.
Yes, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, man. 876-804-7072. This is the Colin Bell Show, our Monday show. This. Welcome.
How you doing, man?
Boy, we're not really good because we people them not all right.
Yeah, man. There's somebody there. Yeah. I'm a call especially to find out how I could have get in touch with Nikisha Burchell because I have a brethren that live up a very good brethren that live in Maroon Town, you know, Vansfield housing scheme, you know.
And you know, you're not from him.
Important, no, and for a while I can't hear none from him, yeah. And he's a very important man up there, so she may know him. And not only that she may know him, but I can't
send you a number for her, but I not even know you have a touch base with her. Because when she gone back down at West there,
and a town should have know.
Should have town know, so you'd have to get to her now.
Yeah, man, get to her now, because I want to find out how we can get some assistance through that.
All right, so I have a number for you. I'm going to send it on to you.
Send it on right now. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
You're on later?
We are on live right now. You never.
You start.
We took the press conference and we just heading to the show.
Oh, all right, cool.
We not stop. We just go straight through.
Yeah, man. Maybe I'll link you later, but give me the
contact, man. As soon as I get a chance, I'm going to send it off.
Yeah, man. Please, thanks.
876-804-7072. This is the Colin Bell Show. We are live on Portland Spice TV. Yeah, man. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good.
Good afternoon. You're live on Portland Spice TV. Go ahead.
Yes, I get the PNP eyes. You understand?
I'm
Because
listening.
they should get more help, and they're not getting it. You know, so that is my opinion. I don't, but I think that Andrew, to me, wants to show up the PNP that they should be elected, and he's doing everything he can possibly to victimize the PNP. Don't hear the nationwide man come and say the PNP wants to rule, like something so. Is he mad?
Crazy, man.
Hello?
They are crazy. They are partisan. That's partisan.
You know something? They are with all the, listen, I see the United States coming with 11 million.
Yes.
But they're not giving it to Andrew. They're telling the organization who want the money to go to. And that's a good idea. That's what the country should do. Do not give Andrew no money. Give it to organization. When I'm going to send my money to NP, Andrew cannot say they did. Because I am going to send a donation to them.
Isn't that embarrassing that other countries are sending money to the island and they are saying that it's not going to go through the government?
But because they go onto money and do not let the public know how much they get. They don't want us to know, the leader of the opposition to know how much they get. And we have a right to know how much they get. But they want to, we cannot, what Mr. Markey said, that they want to stop it. It got to go through the organization. For them to hold on to my money, no, and give me back my money.
Yeah, they want everything to come through the government.
A cent belong to me. My God, come. Is it true? Would have to take that to the court. Let the court decide, because we are not knowing what you're getting. You're getting money every day, every second, and we do not know how much you get. So why are you stopping us from getting money that they can help someone somewhere?
Well, you see, everybody down in the West right now needs help. And as Mark Walden said, the government should not stop reputable people and reputable organizations from doing their part, because right now there are more private sector down there handing out food than government, you know.
So what they're going to stop now then? If they're going to spend it, they're going to stop the people handing out food too.
Well,
that's the next thing Andrew will do, because you don't put nothing past that man.
I hope not. I hope not.
Well, anyway, all I can say, I watched you the other day going down here, and I said, my God, you're good to go here, you know? The road was bad, innit?
Yeah, man, it was winding and narrow, single lane traffic. It was just,
oh God.
It was just horrendous, but it became easy when you know, say, yeah, your heart comfortable that you do something that people really appreciate. And
you know? Yes. But as I say, the people, the MPs, them need the bulldozers to clear the way for people to get out. Because a lot of people are marooned.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people are in there with one house up in the hill and you can't get to them.
You understand, a whole heap of people live
anyway,
far.
Thank you much.
And you have to try and reach them.
Thank you very much for taking my call, sir.
Thanks for the call.
You.
Blessings. 876-7072. This is the Colin Bell Show. We are on early today. We just took that press conference. It's the first one that the People's National Party has held since the passing of Hurricane Melissa. And it looked like the people down at Bradley Avenue never expect the PNP to say nothing, just to sit down, man, and go. No. Don't get there, Shaka. Let me tell you something. Everybody have to live. And one of the problems I have always been having with this administration, they have not been able to govern as the government. They are always showing bias to their side, partisan politics. I see a man nothing look out for him side, you know. But when you're government, you have to look out for all Jamaican. And right now, we have maybe half of the population have been hit hard by this hurricane. So we saw, well, you heard the questions that I asked. The first one, I wrote that in, that I wanted to just make sure that these committees that were put in place to deal with the aftermath of the hurricane, no opposition member of parliament is on any one of those committees. And I ask you, Labour Rights, that is how you believe it ought to be? Go ahead, caller. You're live on Portland Spice TV.
Hi, Colin. Calling from London, UK.
Hey.
Just finished listening to I just finished listening to the press conference. I think it was a much needed press conference to have.
Yes.
So as they people want to know what's going on. Yeah.
Yes.
I just want people, I just want to get this across. Whilst there is an opposition party, they are still part of government. They're not governing, but they're still part of the government.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel it for the MPs, because when I saw that was it about 300 rescue workers came from El Salvador.
Yeah.
Were any of the MPs aware of how they're going to be deployed?
No, they don't know
them
nothing.
Anything. They're not telling them anything. Yeah. When you hear that these relief planes, 9 came into Norman Manley, I think 2 Montego Bay, 2 went down to Ian Fleming in St. Anne or St. Mary, I can't remember which one, Ian Fleming, yeah, right?
Yes.
They're not communicated anything to the MPs, yeah? Right? For them to know that, right, we're going to be deploying these A trucks. This is what's going to whatever parishes they're going to. There's nothing coming through at all, yeah? And to be honest, I don't blame people like Shaggy doing their own thing, yeah? Getting in there. But, my family's all in Westmoreland, mostly South, yeah?
Oh, you're from that area?
There needs to, South, South, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to live in Smithfield many years ago, but my family is in Sab, mostly Sab, like central Westmoreland, yeah? And I always come and I visit Negro and my family in Sab. But there needs to be a more joined up approach. They're on the ground. They know what's going on. I wasn't surprised that Dayton wasn't there, Dayton Campbell and Ian Hayes, because listen, their mental strength is what's keeping them together right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. As I said, I saw them Friday night, and you could see it on their faces.
Yes, they look broken. They really do.
They are broken.
But they look broken. But I have to take my hat off to broadcasters like yourself, Andre Stevens, and many others, that are reaching out to the people and doing what they can.
Yes.
And I'm glad that, I was a bit disappointed with Zara Burton, the question that she had, because why are you talking about an annual budget? The annual budget would have been there regardless of Melissa. Yeah, what the MPs had at 20 million. Yeah, it's an annual budget. Yeah, that they had. Yeah, and I know many MPs that moved in. I mean, the PMP ones, they went in there and there was no money left there. Yeah, and that's not what the money was for. I'm glad that Mark Golding cleared up that question. Yeah, glad that he cleared it up. Yeah, but it's going to be a long road, but they need to work together. But I agree with what Mark Golding said, which was fundamental, Colin. Yeah?
Yeah.
Then leave it to the experts. The MPs are not the experts. They're not rescue. They're not search and rescue. Leave it to the experts. Yeah? When you've got Prime Minister saying, oh, the MPs are going to be ready to deploy. We mean deploy them? Are they search and rescue? Are MPs qualified as search and rescue? What do you mean deploy them? Deploy them where? And like they said, people are phoning up the MPs, saying this, saying that. It needs to be coordinated. It needs to be managed. It's not being managed. So I don't know what kind of disaster management plan Andrew's giving praise about. Yeah? Because it's not working.
It's not working and we don't know the plan.
Exactly. Right? So how do you have the disaster management plan and nobody's aware of it? How does it work? How does it work?
Crazy.
Yeah. When
Crazy.
you've got all of these people coming into Jamaica, yeah, like to give assistance, how's it being coordinated? How? How's it being? But I have to take my hat off to BBC, to Fox News, and to ITV News. We're saying as we see it. Yeah?
Yes.
And the government need to step up, right?
Yes.
Right, Jamaican people, keep strong. Keep strong. You will get through this. People, many of us in the diaspora, we're there for you. We're going to get you through this. Yeah? So blessings to everyone. Yeah? Take care of yourself. My heart goes out to you and my prayers and thoughts are there. I'm donating to Food for the Poor and to others.
Beautiful.
Yeah? Okay.
Beautiful.
Yes, because that's what I'm going to do. Yeah? Because, I'm not, that's all I can do. Yeah?
Blessings and
Right,
thanks
so
very much for the
whoever's-
donation. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sending out credit because a lot of people can't top up their phones. So most of my family members, I'm sending them digital credit, flow credit, so we can get communication going.
Beautiful.
Yeah? For the areas that they've got it.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I'll continue to watch. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very much and thanks for the call.
Yeah, okay. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, man. 876 804 7072. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. We're early today. You're live.
Yeah, my boss.
Yeah, man.
Does Jamaica have a search and rescue team in place? And when was it deployed?
The army have search and rescue team.
No, when was it deployed? Or has it been deployed?
I would want to think so. I can't speak definitively. But once we have a disaster of this nature, the JDF is deployed and they have proper search and rescue. They have the equipment, they have the helicopter, they have the boat, they have the manpower. So I would want to say yes, that search and rescue was deployed. To what extent, I do not know.
So you can't tell if they deployed the day after the disaster?
I think they were deployed even before the disaster. JDF was sent out.
Oh. Boy, I may tell you, say, that question where Chevron asked, boy, I may tell you, say, it go for sure, you say, you have some people where live amongst you, I tell you, say, boy, man, insensitive and inhumane.
You see, it's about politics for them, you know, my brother. It's about politics for them.
You got to say you can't put politics aside?
No, they
for
can't.
Once in your life?
They can't.
You have a situation where people are dead and people are dying, people are suffering, and you, the people, have now no way of getting assistance. And the member of parliament are trying to advocate on their behalf. And you get up in yourself as a human being and ask a question like that.
Yeah, man.
Like when you have a situation where you have dead body afloat.
I don't know if you watch this program Saturday morning when one of them call after we had talked about the fact that we went down to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, all of them places. Yeah. We went there on Friday and the people need assistance. We had talked about that. One of them call, I tried defend when Andrew Holness did go away and why Mark Gold did never go away. Yeah, you understand? They don't have no heart, brother.
Hey, them people are so evil set of people, man.
Dangerous.
Evil body, you know?
Dangerous.
Imagine you have people that starve and suffer, cut off from the country, the rest of the country. And the people them come advocate on them behalf. I say, look here, you need to pay attention yourself. And you as a human being ask a question like that. I bet if somebody come from that area where the town was marooned off from the rest of Jamaica, and you have no way of getting food and no way of getting any sort of supplies. You understand? To sustain yourself. I bet if you need to lay down on a wet mattress in the night and look up in the ceiling and the moonlight, and I bet you won't ask a question like that.
Let me tell you
Very
something, man.
Insensitive, man.
Them man, they blinded by the color, you hear? And their intention is
to... It's a time where you can't take off your politics, you can't take off your green cap some of the time, man.
No,
but know your head big and it's shaped, man. And you can't take a haircut.
His intention is to embarrass. His intention is to embarrass the PNP, man. That's the intention they have.
Eh?
His intention is to embarrass the PNP.
Why am I embroiled by the question in a man? When I tell me I said they couldn't shut him off and lock him off, man.
Well, I think the party leader
Very
dealt with him.
insensitive, man.
I think the party leader dealt with him adequately. Nonsense.
Oh man, some of the
Nonsense.
time you must treat a pig like a pig, man. That's the only way a pig can understand the talking a pig language. That's how them understand. Come on, man. People are dying, man, and people have died. People are
Yes,
suffering
man.
at the same time.
And
Have some heart, man.
people are in areas right now with serious injuries, you know.
Okay,
People
no,
are
man.
there
Yeah,
in
tell them,
some of
man.
these deep rural communities with serious injuries that needs medical attention. And that's why I hear Dr. Dar say you need to get medical mission
Shaka.
into these places.
Shaka is the reason why I'm asking Jamaica have a rescue team, you know. Because we see the Prime Minister fly up here and there and everywhere in Jamaica. And at the same time, we see houses underwater. Have anybody tried to see if anyone is inside those houses?
We don't know.
Suppose somebody in there are cling on to their life and not know where to come out. Like, seriously, man?
Yeah, man, it's a joke, man. You hear Nikisha Burchell said there are still 2-story house submerged in her constituency. Coaster bus submerged in her constituency. Are we sure that there are no bodies in those houses and in those vehicles?
Hey, man, I say, yo, somebody tell me if I have myself, you know, why PMP invite nationwide?
No, you're doing a press conference.
Man.
You send out the invitation to the press and let them come. Let them come. Let people hear the nonsense that they come with.
Listen, man, if him have a problem with the PMP, compose a press conference, him have a choice whether or not to be present or not. Don't show up. Why you want to show up if you find it to be foolish?
All right, my brother. All right.
This is a real situation where people dead, man, and people are dying. Man, like I say, don't you can't ask a question like that, man. Go out, man.
All right, party.
All right, my boss. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Madam Producer, you look like you have something to say. Hold on. See your microphone there, you know. See your microphone there. Turn it on. Turn it on. Yeah.
I was saying it's a press conference, so they're going to invite the press.
That is it. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. You're live on Portland Spice TV.
My brother Shaka Fee.
Wagwan, my big brother.
But you know, I'm driving and I'm listening from if you came on.
Yes.
And I must congratulate the PNP for acknowledging Mark Golden as their leader. The man is a damn genius. The man is a planner and him putting teams together.
You hear the man talk about the 10 city? You need to build a 10 city right now.
Shaka, I must congratulate you guys, man. The man actually has shown leadership and governance. And I wish that the governing party can take some samples and run with it and work like how Mark is saying and let our nation survive. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
The other thing is, it is so nasty and political to see that 28 and 35 members of parliament, and they could only make committees out of the 35. So nobody in that 28 no sense, and most of them are more qualified and educated people than the 35. That is so nasty.
This would show proper unity, you know, brother. You know what kind of unity this would show? You put the opposition on these committees, to a committee to be a part of the relief effort, to be a part of the recovery effort, to be a part of the rebuilding effort. You know how that would look?
Trust me, I was here in America when 9/11 come, and no political party not talk about Republican, Democrat. I say everybody, we ain't know black from white, from yellow, nor Spanish, nor Haitian. Everybody get together.
And that's what disasters like these does, you know, bring people together. But when you have the pulling apart, and I want to warn Jamaican, You see that big earthquake that licked Haiti? That was the final straw that brought Haiti into anarchy, and the suffering that we're seeing in Haiti, You heard Dr. Dawes talk about a man-made disaster after Hurricane Beryl, if we don't be careful. A warning, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, this can bite you in the backside, brother.
I was coming up to that said, because that is very important, bro. When we had Hurricane Ivan, and when I suggestion that came to my thought while Dr. Dawes was talking, if the governing body can ask America to come down and frequently spray over the area of Westmoreland, the area where everything is slaughtered, so to keep down the diseases, because they have the equipment that they come and they spray it, and it keeps down the malaria and all of those things, right?
Those are some of the
Another
things.
point.
Hold on. Those are some of the things you have to be careful about. And I don't know if you remember Saturday morning, I said, and the producer said it, that from we got to Santa Cruz, the stench was out there all the way up to Trelawney. We heard Dr. Dawes talk about that. It's about the carcasses, the dead carcasses that are out there. Fish, livestock, human. Serious?
The U.S. health body has systems where they have material that they can come and spray to kill the bacteria before it starts spreading.
Yes.
Right?
And we can't allow these carcasses to contaminate our water sources.
These are things that why the government need to make everybody join hand in hand and do the work.
Yes. Yes.
And my last thing, do you remember Saturday morning I called you and I asked you a question and I said, how surety that I will be that if I should send out some things for the nation, it will reach where it's supposed to go. And here it come openly. The government want everything go through them. In our reach.
Yeah, and that's why I ask if the PNP have a system that they can also accept donation to give out to people, because I think that they ought to do that. There are a lot of people who have been reaching out to me and saying to me that we want to give something, we want to do something big, but we don't comfortable with sending it through to the government. So they are food for the poor. They are Jamaica, what them name? Churches, the Churches Association of Churches. They also have a charity. And as you heard the party leader spoke to, the PNP is now in a position to accept donation. The treasurer is dealing with it. So people who want to send directly to the People's National Party can send. You want to send to Food for the Poor, you can send. You want to send to Jamaica Union of Churches, you can send. You want to send it to the government, you can send. And we here at Port and Spice TV, we are doing our little bit. So if you want to send something to us and we go down there,
Thursday. That's the point that I'm reaching at. Who trusts the government?
Well, some people may do. Some people may
do. I'm not telling, bro. So you're going back down Thursday morning?
Thursday morning, we're going to Westmoreland. We have now made the decision that we are going to Westmoreland. We didn't give out anything in Westmoreland on Friday. On Friday, we stopped in Middle Quarter, St. Elizabeth. And we had 100 and had bread and some bun and tutti frutti. And we finished all of that in Middle Quarter, St. Elizabeth. So Thursday, the intention is to go down to Westmoreland. We're leaving here early because we want to spend good time down there, reach out to the people, see what we can do, and then we see where we take it from there.
And you have like water accessible for purchasing and so forth, right?
Yeah, man. We want to purchase water because I'm going to bring down the bus. You know the bus? We're going to load the bus.
Yeah,
although a brethren called me yesterday, and what the brethren said to me, I've not repeated it, not even to the producer. But if that brethren come through is a truck, we're going to need to go down there. And that would be really fabulous because a lot of people down there are calling out the people who are in the far rural areas. They have not seen anything. Some of them say they hear a helicopter fly over, but not reach them. So we are doing our part, and we want to big up everybody else who are reaching out and doing their part, because we are indeed our brothers and sisters keeper.
Okay, because when I say going down, I had made a call. I never know say England me look a brother there. Can me want find him if he couldn't designate one of the truck and a driver for you guys to go down there and do some distribution.
Yes,
but
man.
since I say I'll get a truck, you know who me attack, right?
Yes, man. Yes, man.
And they are England now, you know.
Oh, in
me talk to him. Yeah, me talk to him, man, and him there England. So I don't ask him if he couldn't allow one of the truck to be driven by one of him driver.
Yeah.
Go down there and, you know, with your team go do some distribution, because me watch all the distribution the other day, and it heart-rendering, it touching on a man.
And what the sad thing about that, the sad thing about that, we never had enough to give to all the people
that's why
who are
I
in
say
need.
touching, man. When me see Natalie give it, the last set of Wrigley she have or something like that.
May I tell you, brother? May I tell you?
Yeah, man, it's touching, Shaka. Me not lie to you, man. It's touching, man.
Somebody saying, hold on. Somebody saying that the people needs immediate housing. Andrew has queer rooms and his wife have spare rooms, and his wife have apartment. We're not getting at them personal thing. But
Shaka,
like,
hold on,
like the party leader said a while ago, there needs to be some evacuation out of some of these communities. We need to find
Shaka,
a play
they don't
field.
have to do that.
No, hold on.
They don't have to
Hear
do
me
that.
I say. Let me tell you what me I think. In most communities, if not all communities in Jamaica, there's a playing field. There's a play field. Once those play fields are not saturated, you need to set up 10 cities, portlets, generator.
That's exactly where I was going.
Zin, and bring in the people in them places, because some of the places you need to just bulldoze them and build new houses.
Bulldoze and clean it out.
You understand?
Clean it out and set up temporary mass housing.
Put in water tanks. Set up your 10 city, people have water so people can bathe, provide security in those areas, because that is what is needed right now. People need to come out from under the element.
Simple, Shaka. Set up temporary mass housing.
Yeah, man. 10 cities.
Temporary mass. And even some of the zincs that they would use to build back some people place.
Yeah.
You can use some of the zincs to set up temporary mass housing and put the people in so that they not have to sleep on cardboard. Because me see all your cardboard boxes, the people them take them because they're not on a bed.
All right. That's why I make certain give them, you know. Because I said these can be useful based on what I see. One of the things I want to bring down on Thursday, I want some tarpaulin. I have half a bale in the van right now, because I had some in storage, so I take them out, I put them there in the bus already. And I think I want another 2 bale at tarpaulin to bring down so people can at least have some cover to cover them things, because a lot of things are left out in the open.
I have some tarpaulins too that actually one of my cousins down in Mobile, we couldn't hear from him.
Yeah.
So me hear from him son, and I tell him son, say, look, I have tarpaulins at my house that I had sent down last year, a couple of big tarpaulins. He could get them to give some of the people whose roof are gone to cover them.
But the producer say everybody roof gone.
Yeah, I know. Some in St. James, they were not so terrible.
Yeah, some of those parishes and everywhere get hit, because Montego Bay looked good when we passed through Montego Bay the other night. Montego Bay looked good. It just that it was a ghost town. Was surprised to see Montego Bay locked down at about 9 o'clock. Yeah.
But Shaka, you see that clip, you see that trip we met down in the west. Me forward that to about 35 people, and everybody want to know who is this guy.
Sure.
Who is this lady? Who is this guy? Who is this lady? So I figure now that we're gonna have at least 35 more people on the platform.
Beautiful.
at least 35
Beautiful.
more people.
Let's build
You
a
know,
platform. It's
because
about Jamaica. That's the interest.
that's the interest. But when they saw what you had done and then call, who is this guy? We say he's a stalwart in Jamaica. He's a stalwart. He's not only politician, he's a Jamaican. So
Yes, yes.
let me tell you, man, it's sad.
Somebody,
It's really
hold on.
sad.
Somebody putting a good idea here. Put some of the people in the stadium. Yeah, the Trelawney multipurpose stadium can be a site for put some people. The Trelawney
But
multipurpose stadium.
Is it standing? Is it
yes,
standing?
man, it is standing.
Okay.
That
Okay,
stadium.
sir.
So the Trelawney multipurpose stadium, you have, I don't know if you don't want to put people at Jared Park in Montego Bay. That used to be a big place as well. You have Catherine Hall, I think that was underwater. But Trelawney
Catherine
multipurpose.
Hall Jono.
Yeah, so Trelawney
Catherine Hall
multipurpose
Jono.
stadium can be used as well. And any little stadium, any little play field, fix them up. Have soldiers as security guard, as security in those areas, and take the people out of them area for a little while and make we clean up, send in crew to clean up and rebuild. Because we can't ramp with this, you know. We should make this, make we end up like 80.
Sheila family come from Shrewsbury in a St. Elizabeth, you know.
Yeah,
Close
yeah.
up to where you go there now.
Yes.
And then they send me picture where you can stay at Shrewsbury and stay almost everywhere in a St. Elizabeth, you know.
Everywhere, man.
Her brother house flat, her cousin house flat.
Wow.
All of them house, them flat out, you know, man.
Somebody
family,
said,
you know.
somebody said Jared Park is a pond. And somebody's also suggesting that the Montego Bay Convention Center can be used. How about the hotels? You can use some hotels, or you can request a cruise ship to come in for a little while and put some people on it. So there are ideas that we need to pursue. And as soon as we can get the children back in school, because the school them don't mash up to you, know, brother.
Well, Mr. Fiem, this is the main reason why the government need to collaborate and stop partisan this thing. This is no political thing. This is a nation need. And another thing too. Where them handicap from nationwide come from, man?
Sure, man. Stop giving man time and place, man. Him no need no time and place around here, so. We know their view and their vision and their mission.
Why is Mark? What he said?
In lucky date, never did it this evening.
You know, my brother, look more here, sir.
Blessings.
Look more.
Yes, I. 876-7072. That's the number to call this evening. We're still talking about the relief effort. Hurricane Melissa come down and destroy. Ed boy.
How you doing?
We're not so good, but we are go through.
Boy, I tell you, it's like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the bombs that damaged Japan. Yeah.
Yes.
When you look at what has happened in the western end of the island, yeah, and not forgetting too that the eastern parts too were that most of the island was damaged.
Yes, man. The whole place get leaked because whole place a center must mash up to communities almost
exactly. I'm
almost
referring to
wash away.
And those places. That's why I said the eastern end, and I think the government, the approach, as Mark Golden and the MPs have been saying, cannot just be that is one place you focus on.
And because you did hear about that place the first, when something else come up, you're not going to look.
No, because Bath is in a... When I saw what was happening in Bath, I couldn't believe. If you go around the junction, Shaka, yeah?
I have.
And you look at the bareness, God spared St. Mary and St. Andrew. But when you look particularly southeast, but when you go venture beyond the junction into places like Richmond and so, it's devastating.
It is.
There are communities now in Richmond that is still inaccessible.
I don't know how the Prime Minister to date have not declared Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, maybe Hanover disaster zone. I don't know what he's waiting on to do that.
Because if he does, and let us be real, and we're trying to avoid the politics in this time, but the Prime Minister is forcing us to respond.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the chaka, look at what is happening. If you're avoiding the pot, if he doesn't declare these 3 parishes, if he does declare them as disaster zones,
yeah,
right? You know what will happen?
Tell me.
Those parish councils will kick into effect. So it means that every support that comes has to come through not just central government, but it has to come from central government to local government. Yeah?
You serious, Ed boy? Me never calculate that.
Who commands the mayorship of 2 of those parishes that have been severely hit?
The mayor of Westmoreland is PNP. The mayor of Hanover is PNP, too, right?
PNP.
But
And
St. Elizabeth
we
is
have
GLP.
about we have 4 there.
Yeah, but you can't. Oh, you all do that.
Because
that's why. Are you serious, Ed boy? That is the reason why St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover have not been declared disaster zone areas of St. James.
Any local government practitioner, like a man like Lambert, like a man like even Natalie, they will tell you if they're open enough to say it publicly, they will tell you that is the delay in declaring it, because you cannot just, when he declared the entire Jamaica a disaster zone, in effect it caused the central government to be in effect, meaning main government, right? When you declare a parish as a disaster zone, it is that parish committee that comes into effect.
Oh.
Remember, you have the local, you have national ADPEM, you have the local disaster risk management committees.
Yes.
Of each parishes. Yes? And the mayor is supposed to sit on the disaster management committee, stemming from groups that come from various communities.
Would that put the government at a disadvantage? Would it?
It would not.
Exactly.
Would not.
So why? But then it stands to reason, though, Ed boy, because I have been saying these places must be declared a disaster area.
And if you do so, it allows for the law to come to take into effect, where can mandate that the state organizations go into these places regardless of the disaster. So
I also think that in those parishes you should declare a state of public emergency.
Exactly, which allows, and because it is in fact a state of emergency.
Yes, this is a state of emergency. This is what calls for a SOE.
But Colin, if you want to go further than this and to show you the blatant disregard of this government in relation to assistance that's coming into Jamaica, first of all, I'm telling you must send everything to them. Now, I have no issues in supporting the government, but people have choices in who they want to give their donation to.
Of course.
That is absolutely people's choice. But when you have a donation coming from Venezuela, yes, sitting, Colin, on the international airport at Norman Manley for over 3 hours before any sort of information came to the Venezuelans to say what they must do with the cargo that they brought on behalf of the Jamaican people,
And no government authority went out there.
None.
That is my information.
None. It is a blatant disregard. And we're not talking about just little small items. The Venezuelans are going through the worst situation in their lifetime, and they're still giving us aid whilst they're suffering.
Humanitarian.
And nobody from the government could go to even meet them.
But they met everybody else, though. Maybe them never want nothing from Venezuela.
No, but you can't choose when you're in a disaster. It's not your call. Who gives you when you're in a disaster, Colin? All the enemy get you. You can't say no to the enemy when the enemy help you.
Because I know you personally, they are helping the people of Jamaica. And Venezuela have always been good to the people of Jamaica.
And we have always been good to them.
Yes, we have been good friends.
So I don't understand. And I understand maybe the stance taken by the PNP on this, but I think it is a blatant disrespect to a party and to a government that has been very supporting of the Jamaican people, and to see in a disaster demand them fly come to Jamaica to gear things, and instead of you send a representative, you didn't have to send a minister. You never have to send a minister. You could have just sent a simple person from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to meet them.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, but the Minister of Foreign Affairs could have gone. The Prime Minister an half ago.
Exactly. But whilst we move on from that, Colin, and we
Yes.
look and rebuilding is where the real issues are going to be coming up.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And we have to be realistic. And I see Mark Golding's talking about it. If the government is going to say to send donations to them alone, that is one of the first issues we are going to have in a part of the rebuilding. Two, the logistics, as your callers and other people have been pointing out. You are telling me that we have an army, which is well trained, by the way. Yeah?
Yes.
Well trained. Sitting up at JDF, sitting up at Mount Pele, sitting up all over the place in various camps. Yeah? And that is where the supplies need to be moved to. And from those camps, for example, in the case of South St. James, we have the Mount Pele camp.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
The Mount Pele camp can be the camp to go in. They have the equipment, the Jeep that can drive, go into a terrain that regular vehicles can't.
True. The Bushmasters.
The Bushmasters, traded by them for sure.
But, Ed Boy, it seems to me like the government is just profiling on this,
They are PRing and stunting, and I'm not going to be afraid to say it. They are PRing and stunting whilst people's lives are at risk. Whilst today I listened to Nikisha Burchell, Colin.
Yeah.
And I tell you, with no fear in saying it publicly, I literally cry. I have never cried in a long time like this.
Even when I went down there and saw it, I did not. But tears came to my eyes when I sat right here in front of the screen and watched Nikisha Burchell. I lost it. I lost it.
When I heard what was this, because when she described it, and I've been known South Indians and know when them places cut off down there, how difficult it is for people. And we have how many helicopters sitting on JDF facilities, not doing anything with them, and saying you can't deliver food.
But the US sent down what I heard was that it's gonna be 8 Chinooks. 3 was here at the minute. Those Chinooks can do some unimaginable things,
Exactly.
And you're telling me that
in your car,
every
community have a playing field.
Will there be parliament tomorrow? Will there be a sitting of the parliament tomorrow? Because if there's a sitting of the parliament tomorrow, it's gonna be fireworks.
Yeah, but there has to be, and there
because
must
you
be,
see what happened. You see what happened at the last sitting when they shut down Chris Brown and shut down the questions, the pertinent questions.
They are now faced with, because this is the issue with the contractors. Similarly in Southeast, send me as I tell you, the whole of Richmond, most of Richmond is down. The power lines are down,
and up till Friday morning junction start clear. Friday.
Yes.
What was clear was when man got through and cut out.
Persons tell me they were coming into the junction on Thursday, right? And it took them about 4 hours from Brandon Hill to get into St. Mary.
Yes. Wow.
So we now have to we have to get, and Zulika just is right. The government cannot tell MPs, elected MPs, that you must wait on our response before you can do it. They have to act now.
The government, the ruling party, needs to show more respect to the elected representative of the people. They are not showing the kind of respect to the opposition members. Yeah? And that is wrong.
When you form a committee, Colin,
it is wrong.
When you form a committee and you put ministers who are already bogged down by, for example, I will not disrespect nobody, but what is the purpose of Darrell on that committee? He already is dealing with the response. Most of the response is coming from his ministry relation to the communications part, telecom part, right? So you are now taking him now to come oversee distributions to the various parts of the island. Does that make sense?
When I say that makes a lot of sense for the Jamaica Labour Party. It makes a lot of sense.
You and I know why.
Oh, of course. That's the man. That's the man.
That's the face.
That's the man.
But in in reality, though, what we're saying is if you're serious about disaster and you are doing this solely for the purpose of helping the Jamaican people, then you'd have said that two of the opposition members sit on the committee.
Of course, that's what you would expect.
Them have one elected one and them nominate somebody else if so be the case. Yeah?
Somebody's saying that if there's a sitting tomorrow, people should go out and protest. Ian Hills break my heart too. He did a video. Hold on, Ed boy. We, the Jamaican people, must demand the government to declare the SOE. Not meeting the Venezuelan is a political move due to what's going on in the Caribbean. You hear what Trinidad say? Trinidad say, "Oh, look, new friends." And I tell you, I've been saying it to you people on this program. You've been saying why we're not hearing more from Caribbean leaders, why we're not hearing from the chairman of CARICOM. I said to you right here, Trinidad is in agreement with what the US is doing. And who say our prime minister not in agreement? We have not heard anything from him. But let's get back.
Colin,
let's get back to Melissa.
Whilst we talk about that, and though we want to avoid it, it is very difficult for a lot of people to understand. It's very difficult for people need to understand this. We cannot, for a minute, take our eyes off what is happening in our Caribbean water. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, and parts of Hanover, and even in the eastern parts of the island, those parishes carry the highest level of fishermen, registered fishermen.
Yes.
Typically, when they fish and they need good catch, they go as far as down to the coast of Colombia.
Yes, they said it. I listened to an interview with them and they tell you. Yes.
Now, in our recovery effort, if our fisher folk are not allowed to fish properly, Colin, right? Especially those parishes of Westmoreland, which are productive fishing parishes, right? With discontinued imposition of the Americans in our water and making our Caribbean a zone of peace, turning into a zone of war, we will have a food security issue where fisheries is concerned.
Oh yeah.
It may lead to an importation of fish. It may lead to a large scale, so we still have to look at that. But that, as we don't want to dwell on that now because of the current situation.
Yeah.
But Colin, as I go, I want to make an appeal, particularly for the people of the West. Yes, and I'm saying to those in the diaspora and those in Jamaica, and all over who can give to programs that can support them, particularly getting water, the immediate things right now. Yes, the tarpaulin to kind of cover them up, and so if you can give, I'll urge you to give to people like Portland Spice that will definitely be on the ground to give people. Yeah,
and anything we do, it's gonna be on the channel.
Of course, everything you do is documented, Colin. Right. I know you operate. I know you operate.
Be on this channel, we're gonna be showing you everything we do.
And equally, I must commend Andre Stevens and others.
Yeah, they went down yesterday.
And yourself. Yes, well, this is what we need, Colin. We need more our people to really going out there and giving the response. Because what happened? We know that these people genuinely want to help people. Yeah. And so we commend you guys for the initiative. I wish I could have joined, but it is sometimes. Yeah.
Yes.
But we want to say to the people, we are with you, we stand with you. And one thing I know about Jamaicans, Colin, we will overcome this.
We will overcome. But one of the things that scares me, Ed boy, is 80 next door to us. A whole heap of 80 get,
Yes.
When they had that earthquake, crazy money went to 80. And somebody this morning was saying that 75% of it went into administration fee for different agencies who were dealing with the relief and all of that. 25% of the money went to the people.
Most of it never got to the
exactly.
Most of it never got to the people. And as I go, you raised a question about the equalization fund.
Yes.
Right? And I want to respond to it quickly because you are right. And if the parishes were declared a disaster zone. Yes, more funds would have to be sent directly to the equalization fund of those different councils. Yeah?
But we need those kind of money to get into the smaller communities. The
Yes, because it
councillors
is the
needs
councils
to be
who know.
activated.
It's the councillors who know the people more. It's the councillors who are on the ground with the people. And not only that, when you look at, for example, like what has happened in your own division of fellowship.
Yeah.
All right. And that even though the government is not highlighting that people in Millbank are cut off.
Yeah, them not show them thing there. Many people
Bellevue,
lost their
it's
roof in
damaged.
Cornwall Barracks, in
Yes.
Bellevue, Comfort Castle,
Yes.
Mansion Hill. The
Yes.
community of Bath, the river almost take it away.
Exactly.
And
this is somewhere.
one of the questions we need to find out if the Prime Minister has really flown across the entire island yet to look everywhere, because the Prime Minister for all of Jamaica, you can't just looking at this area and now looking at that area. You heard
Yeah,
Isaac
but Colin,
Buchanan
what
made
is
a plea for the
fundamentally
East.
What is fundamentally flawed about the approach, and this is what we're pointing out, which is wrong with the approach. They knew which sections of the eastern part of the island have been hit because they know, because those were the first videos to surface out on social media.
Yes.
When the storm commenced, so they know the areas that have been damaged. Whereas you don't need to fly over nowhere. What you need to now do is to sit with the elected representatives if they were serious and find out from the MPs in both areas. So I think that's what St. Thomas Eastern and East Portland, as to what aid is necessary to help them at this point.
We have
There's
people
no
here.
flying, no time to fly. This floating, flying over
but
sky,
why I
it's not
talk
achieving
about
anything.
why I said fly and look, because that gives you a faster movements, to at
I
least
agree
get a
with you.
bird's eye view, and then you're sending
Yes.
people. You hear Zelika just say, no government official not coming in our constituency yet,
And it was the eye of the storm. It was where the storm walked when it entered Jamaica.
Anyway, boy, I could talk again here, sir.
My brother, all the best. Stay strong.
Blessings. We want to see the government. We want to see the human side of the government. The human side.
Hello, Mr. Colin Bell. Yeah, I'm calling all the way from UK. Yeah, I'm wanting to do some donation for my parish. Yeah, cause I'm from the Rio Grande Valley. I'm one of the Burke. Yeah. So could you give me a call, please, so I could have a little chat with you, so we can take it from there. Please give me a call when you get my message, please.
All right,
Thank you.
definitely. Shaka, is it Friday blocking of Comfort Castle and Millbank? No, not to my knowledge. They can move past Friday. There are some landslides there. That's an area I have not gone to, but they can come out and go in, so it's not blocking it off totally. Flying over that was just for clout. He has no interest in people. He has no interest in people. It's for him to look good. But we, the Jamaican people, are not blind. Just trying to read some of your messages. Andrew Holness does not want to be seen with Venezuela because he fear from the US. Well, my people, Mystical, send me a message to my personal number, because the number I have for you, I'm not seeing it coming up on WhatsApp. So send me a message to my personal number so I can send you that number. Ed boy, when your visa is at stake, you cannot be seen to support the enemy. Hey. Yeah, man. So Thursday, we're going to be heading down to Westmoreland with some food stuff. I see the producer putting together some clothes, water, and anybody who wants to contribute to that effort. We have a Cash App on the profile of Portland Spice TV. If you go on the profile, you'll see the Cash App address. You can send a WhatsApp to us on the 876-804-7072, and we will touch base with you. I am also suggesting to people that if you have family members who are willing to travel down to St. Elizabeth, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, St. James to assist, send them where you can and make them go down there and assist the people. Carry some food. Nobody go down to go show up on the people. Them. Just carry stuff, go give them, because they are all in need. It is a sad day for us here in Jamaica, and we want to assist as much as we can. And it should be allowed. You know, people who want to assist should be allowed to assist. Madam Producer? Oh. So, we're going to compile all the stuff by Wednesday because we have to load up Wednesday evening. So, we want to ensure that tomorrow and Wednesday, we put the stuff together and then we leave out early Thursday morning to see what we can do. Good evening, Shaka. Fishermen in Mansion Hill have nothing leave out at sea. You mean all of the fish pot them gone? So you heard Isaac Buchanan talking about the East because the East has been forgotten. We don't hear nothing from the government about down here. We see the press conferences and the press conferences lack substance because who we have dealing with the press conferences are policymakers, legislatures. The technocrats are not being given the opportunity to speak, and the technical people who understand. Now, we want to see more from the JDF. We want to see the JDF coordinating this relief. Yeah. 876-804-7072. Good evening. We're live on Portland Spice TV. You have something playing in the background. When you call me, you have to turn it off. You have to turn it off when you call me. Because, all right. So let me just sort this out from a brethren. Hold on there. All right. So let me see if I can put in this here. It's 405. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. You're live on Portland Spice TV. Turn off the instrument in your background, please.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Good afternoon. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay. This is my first time tuning into your broadcast. I think you're doing a great and lovely job. You just showed up on my YouTube feed. And I just wanted to reach out to you to let you know you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm of Jamaican heritage myself. However, I was not raised there.
Okay.
You have to bear with me if it's certain things that I'm not familiar with. Just go ahead and educate me to keep me on track.
Okay, go ahead.
However, all of the members are from there. Some people members I have not heard from as of yet, and I pray all is well with them until we can make contact. However, with this Hurricane Melissa situation, my perspective from the outside looking in is this. America has experienced this level of hurricane before with Hurricane Katrina.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes, yes.
Hurricane Katrina came in as a Category 5.
Mash up New Orleans.
Exactly. The same thing that has taken place now with Jamaica. And remember, the response time was extremely slow.
Yes.
With Hurricane Katrina getting help and aid to the residents of Louisiana. So my questions are and concerns, because I have a whole list of questions of concerns. We know that it's hurricane season, We have hurricane season every year, January through the end of November.
No, June to November. It's June, not January.
Yes, June to November. You're correct. So my concerns are, this is a humanitarian crisis for all of Jamaica. It's a country of emergency right now. What is the contingency plan that is put into place when a hurricane of such magnitude sweeps across the land? Because as I've shared with you, we've seen this already with Katrina, and my concern and anxiety is that the same way that Katrina played out with the residents of Louisiana is what is going to take place with Jamaica.
That's
scary. Do you remember all the It's very scary, and I'm so disheartened because do you remember, just like now, all the resources and money and millions of dollars, many millions of resources went to Louisiana that did not trickle down to the residents.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes. America. What's that country that is run by America that's close to America? Not Costa Rica. What's its name again? Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. I spoke to somebody this morning, and they remind me that there was a disaster in Puerto Rico, and after everything, they had about a half an acre of water, bottled water, that did not get to the people. So we have to be careful.
Yes, we do. And that is my concern because there's so much aid that is being sent in, and it's great. But now we are a week out from this hurricane, and the aid is not reaching the residents of Jamaica. Why is it taking over a week? Yes, we understand the roads are not good. They need to clear the paths for the roads, but that's minor in the bigger scheme of things.
Of course. You see, one of the problem, caller, is that they are separating the elected representatives. And Mark Golden said it a while ago in the press conference. Both political parties have elected representative on the ground that is in touch with every nook and cranny. And if you activate them, make them a part of the discussion, you know the areas that we have not heard from in a long time, the areas that we need to get in touch with right now, and therefore ensure that our people are taken care of.
Yes, that are in, and I don't see any Red Cross on the ground. Usually Red Cross appears to help the residents in the community. I don't see any Red Cross. I don't see any disaster management or temporary housing being shipped in. You remember in Louisiana, they had temporary shelter shipped in for the
But in a case like this, caller, you're right, that must be done. And Mark Golden mentioned it a while ago that you need to evacuate some people out of some of those areas, put them in temporary shelter, and till you can get them back on their feet. And we see people still sleeping out in the element. In Friday when we were down there, I asked a young man how they sleep at night. He said, "No sleep."
Yeah, no Jamaican should be unhoused. No Jamaican should be unhoused. So that's why I'm asking, what was the disaster management plan? We knew a category 5, because I'm not far from Jamaica. I'm in the US, not far from Jamaica. We knew that Melissa was coming. It was going to be a category 5 storm. It bypassed my state, stayed in the Caribbean, but no one from government has said what was the disaster plan. What is the contingency plan? Okay, we're at a category 5. We know majority of the houses in this country cannot withstand that category of storm. What is the plan moving forward? Because we know the hurricane was coming.
Yes. It never does creep upon we. We were planning for it about 9 days before it arrived.
Yes, I have not heard anyone say what the plan is. And then the issue that I have with the Jamaican island is that everything is a extremely slow process, slow, tedious.
It's very slow, caller, and very disappointing.
Yes, it's very antiquated. And this is a this is a situation of desperation.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Well,
I mean, for women,
I hope they are
children.
listening. I hope they listen to that press conference today, and I hope we'll see a new posture from the government going forward.
Yes, because it's not a good look.
No.
It is not a good look. The funds should be dispersed now. You know, yesterday, funds should have been dispersed yesterday.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and we should be seeing the 10 cities already. In fact, Friday when I said to a police officer, where's the closest shelter? He said there is no shelter because now we're not down there with no roof.
Yes, but they have community center. They have churches, community center.
No, but hold on, Carla. The churches lost their roofs. The community center lost their roofs. And that's why the schools lost their roofs. And that's why we are saying one of the things that they should have done is put in some tent city quite fast. Use the play fields, any open area that is safe from water. They should put in the 10 cities.
But what about the churches on the other side of the island that's not affected?
Well, that's why I don't know if you were listening a while ago. Somebody mentioned that we could use the Trelawney multipurpose stadium. We could use the national arena. And Mark Wolin said that we must now start evacuating people to get them from under the open elements, that they can have somewhere to live, get proper meal, get medication. All of that needs to be done now.
And then the medical care,
Yes.
They should have pop-up stations, temporary medical stations for people that's affected and hurt by this storm. That should have been implemented before we get to where we are now. You know, have them on standby.
And somebody also said that they can use the JDF to repair some of these community center, put on roof on some of these schools quick and fast and get people in there, get the people from out of the open element.
If they wanted to, and you know why I'm disappointed as well, and I hate to reference this, but I'm just going to use this as a reference point as well. When they built that alligator Alcatraz in South Florida, that alligator Alcatraz was up within a few days.
So America can help.
Yes. Yeah, or they can send the resources down there to build, you know, several thousands of those in a smaller scale.
And people are coming in, but I don't know if the government know what they want these people to do. Because a lot of help are coming in. I think somebody mentioned a while ago that 300 volunteers came from what's that country there?
Was it
El Salvador, right? And a lot came from the United States as well. But if the government don't know what they want, they're not going to know what they need to ask for.
Yes, but we can see what is needed when we're looking at the television and seeing what is the destruction that has taken place. That the streets, the roads, the infrastructure, clean water.
Carla.
I mean, they're behind the ball. They're behind the 8 ball.
Way behind the 8 ball, Carla. Way behind. But they want people to say that they're doing a good job.
Yes, but you know, as I stated, as someone that's from the outside looking in, Hurricane Katrina is the blueprint of where we are today.
Yes. Definitely. All right, Carla, thanks for your call. It's much appreciated. Please don't stay away and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell that whenever we are on, you know that we are on.
Thank you so much. Will do.
Oh, thank you, and have a good one. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
This is the Colin Bell Show. We're live on Portland Spice TV. The number to call is 876-804-7072. You can call us straight, and you can call us on WhatsApp. We still don't have any electricity in my area. There are places in Portland that have received electricity, and my understanding is that the JPS workers, they are out there trying their best to get Portland up. St. Thomas, my understanding, is up. There may be areas that don't have any electricity. So we're trying to be patient, but hey, It's rough out here. But we just imagine what the people in Westmoreland, Hanover, St. Elizabeth, St. James, Trelawney, parts of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas, what they are going through. I have a virgin live in Smokyville. Tell me last night same roof get damaged. Yeah, from the hurricane. So there have been some damage in Kingston and St. Andrew as well. Clarendon gets some hit too. So it's not just the western side. The western side get it bad. Real bad. You know? But the government have to start do a little bit better. And one of the things that we want the labor rights who are listening, call them and tell them. They need to start putting these tents. Tents, portalet, water truck, water tank, ensuring that our children don't start sleep out a door. They need a roof over their heads right now. And if you never think about it, get some people into the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium. There are bathrooms there that are ready. Put some tents on the field. Cover off some area. That area should be able to hold a lot of people in the multipurpose stadium. Get some people into the arena. I hear Tufton mention a field hospital. That should be up already. Junior, I don't know. Yes, some people been asking if we hear from Junior. I have not heard from Junior since the storm. So anybody will have a link to Junior. Junior lives in St. James. Would I love to hear from him. Yeah, man, would I love to hear from Junior to ensure that one of our ardent listener and subscriber to Portland Spice TV is all right, is doing well. So anybody know any link to Junior? Make we see if we can hear what is happening with Junior. When growing up, my father and my friends could roof a big house in a couple of days so the JDF could do much faster. And you see, coordination is the thing, you know, because I know a lot of workmen would go down there go volunteer. Yeah. But some cleanup need to go on first. The cleanup need to go on. The structures need to be inspected by some engineer. And those that the roofs can put on back quick and fast, we put them on back. So the work needs to be done. Government need to stop twiddling their thumb and have this press conference where them just a chat pure garbage. Some port of Spanish Town don't have any, or some parts of Spanish Town don't have any light yet. The government is not doing anything, in my opinion. There's so much more that can be done. I do agree with that. Houses burned down. Houses burned down in Eros Circle. When that happened today, leaving 53 persons homeless. The football field or parking lot in every community can be used. That's what we're saying, you know. That's what we are saying. There are spaces that can be used and ought to be used to deal with these ASAP. Set up these tent city. A brethren of mine send me a tent that is looking at. I want to see if I can find it. Yeah, man, he sent me a tent. See it here? That he's looking at to, if you can get some of these. So it's like a blow-up tent. We can get some of these, put them on the play field, put in generator so people have light, put in your Starlink so that the people stop sleeping at the open element. People just look and wonder what it is that can be done. Look at them senior. People are going to river, go catch water, and you don't know if dead animal upstream. We have to do better than this, you know. And we have to do it fast. Because you said it, you know. Say more people are going dead. They are going to die from diseases. So when you say it, you might think a joke thing. But it's serious. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. You're live on Portland Spice TV. See, it's still connecting. Madam Producer, you were about to come in a while ago. Alfred Dawes. Yeah, caller, go ahead.
Blessed top of the evening, Colin.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. I try not to call into most of the show throughout this hurricane because after this hurricane and before, because I'm pretty much kind of angry with how this direction of the government from Jump Street. I'm not talking about just now. From Jump Street, from the time when the leader of the opposition and his team were the adults in the room and decided to ask what the plan, and they were rushed out. The ball be dropped from then. That was Jump Street to make the necessary plan, and they were dismissed. And I'm so angry from then because if you have 9 days to prepare, which you have 10 years on top of that to prepare, because we see things that should have been done and haven't been done before then. But you still get 9 days to prepare. And the opposition being the adult in the room and decide to ask the necessary questions for that is relevant to the preparedness of Jamaica to face the hurricane, the monster that was staring down our neck back. And you were dismissed. Now to say it come to this point where I put it this way, they are still being dismissed.
Yes.
Because they are left out throughout all this planning and everything. They are still being left out. So they are still facing the dismissal of this government.
And then you have the idiot journalists coming at the press conference, come ask the opposition if they are trying to govern from the opposition benches.
Yeah, because he don't understand. And you know, sometimes, let me tell you, I heard Mark say something today in this press briefing, and I hope Andrew wake up now and take that advice. They are very much competent people who are trained for this. None of who is on that committee are in Jamaica are trained to deal with this kind of disaster. And it reached a point where I say I will give them 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And the only reason why I give 2 weeks, plenty Jamaican already learn how to handle hunger. But 2 weeks, it's gonna be boiling point, boiling over.
So you're
and
saying 2
everything
weeks?
else that comes with it.
Mm.
So I suggest he take the advice from Mark and start to look people from other countries who can deal with this kind of things, from logistics to everything,
Yeah.
because they are not ready for this moment. They are not ready for this moment. You need people who can gonna come and deal with logistics, straight to medical, everything, how to deploy mobile homes and everything, how to deploy mobile morgue and everything. There
Yes.
should be at least a floating hospital out on the water already.
Yes.
That is not even in place. And you have them just going around doing photo ops. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
My brother.
I've seen these things happen up front already. I've seen it. And I see how the approach. You have companies who have their own ship. They deal with it. These are what they do. Their own ship. They own everything they have to it. They have their kitchen for feed thousands of people with meal. They have their own hospital and it. Those are the people you have to reach out to. Don't go out talking about donation before you start talking about these things.
All right, my brother. Thanks for
They
the
have
call.
their own helicopter. They have everything.
Yes.
These are the things, these are the people you have to reach out to.
Yes. Yes.
They don't understand the real danger of what is coming, disease and everything.
Yes. As Dr. Dawes says, if we don't careful, we have another man-made disease.
I said I give them 2 weeks and then that will be melting point.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Well,
and that will be melting point.
brother, I hope it not reach that melting point. Thanks for the call, though.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Listeners and viewers, I think I just heard that the death toll is now 32. Let me see if I can get this up so I can hear this. Think at 32, them say.
November 3, 2025. Death toll from Hurricane Melissa now stands at 32, but the government says the figure could rise in the coming days. The government says JPS and the telecommunications providers are making progress in restoring services to their customers. Opposition leader calls on the government to implement an evacuation plan for homeless residents in Western Jamaica. Education Minister says the decision to reopen schools will be left up to school boards and principals. In business news, JMEA President calls on island's bankers to lower interest rates in aid and recovery building process.
You see how long we are saying that the interest rate, the banks need to drop the interest rates. But Jamaica is in a serious problem now. Serious problem now. Anybody when realize that this is trouble we in now, you know. I may I remind you know, who want get afraid, get afraid. But may I remind you know, 80 major problems started after that big earthquake. Hundreds of thousands of people died. It was a major disaster. The world went in to help. Most of the money dropping at some big hole. And to date, they don't know where it go. When we speak, I don't want nobody just look at it and say, Shaka, PNP. Look at what is happening to your brothers and sisters around you. Those of you who are political operatives, drive, go down here, so. Take a drive, go down there. Not just look on the pictures of the houses. When you see the faces of the Jamaicans down there, that tells a different story. jumping on a vehicle, drive go down there, put couple case of water in the vehicle, some bulla and some bun, go look wagwan, and when you go down there and look, if your conscience said the government is doing well, then so be it. But if you go down there and you're not satisfied with the condition of your fellow men, then you must say it. It was frustration that caused Paul Bogle and Sam Sharp to walk miles to their oppressor's home. Did Lisa Hanna go down there? I don't know. I don't know. Eh? Well, normally we end at 6. Marathon. Sister Dawn.
Yes, greetings, Colin.
You have the food ready?
Oh,
Then
greetings to all on your platform.
okay.
I listened to the press conference today,
Yes.
and it is even more depressing for
Yes.
people like me who personalize these things. I remember some personalize even before anything. From you hear the hurricane, I start thinking about people when we know communities when we know. Remember when you say
Well, on a little
like
bit. Auntie Don, don't lose your thought. Somebody asked me if Lisa go down there. I said I don't know. Me never said she not go. So you reach to know, so why is Lisa Anna telling Al Sharpton that the Prime Minister is on top of things? Well, maybe you never read all your message. I heard it. No, she said the government is on top of things. But if you listen to the talk of the government, you believe that they are on top of things, you know. Sorry, Auntie Dawn, go ahead.
Yes, I mean, I'm saying that listening to the press conference, it was even more depressing for persons like me who personalize these things because I think about my people, you know.
Yes.
When the hurricane, you remember when you say your house, you got counter to deal with the front window.
Yes.
But you know, some homes in the community, you remember the story of the 3 little pigs, can't take the huffing and puffing.
Yeah, man.
You have some houses where it's some me deal with things. Me not only think about my personal surrounding, I think about people where communities where me know where me usually work and so. Where you know the houses, them are just fate to hold up them house there, you know. And when you hear about any kind of disaster, you kind of personalize it. And today the thing there did the same. The 2 persons this morning, a young lady I knew, video her experience going down there. And it was really touching. She's from St. Elizabeth.
Okay.
And then now, when you heard the MPs Jess and Bertel, you know,
Yes.
it's really touching.
Very
But you
touching.
know, my concern, the government, I'm wondering if it is not orchestrated to make us look as if we need more help than is really. When they undermine or they minimize, they're giving the impression that our army cannot do the things that we know they can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
The army can manage this.
Them, I don't know.
If they have given the resources, they can manage this. They have the logistics, they have the engineers, they know how to do the distribution.
Aye. When Gilbert is who they go out first.
The army. But I heard a call in the reserves, you know. The other morning I was listening to the news. And the army called in all the reserves.
But the thing you're getting is that you don't feel them on the ground.
Because I tell you something, Don.
One thing.
When I went down there Friday, me never like what me see, because if you listen to me Saturday morning, you'd hear me say, I saw a base, but it was small. It's not what me did expect. Me did expect to see the place full of soldiers all over.
Like Zozo. Like when they set up for Zozo and SOE, right?
In terms of the amount of soldier, me did expect to see more than that.
Same thing there.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying that we had the soldier them sit on roadside for much months. I do nothing. I know some of them really do, and you don't get the feelings that they are using them to do the things that. I mean, yes, we may don't have certain resources and so. However, we have enough that we can deal with the first responder part of it, you know.
But you realize that from the hurricane, we don't hear an interview with anybody from the army saying how much wreckage they have flown and how much people them we don't hear them. There's something there, you know. And them something we want hear how much people them the army rescue so far, how much communities they have gone into where you can't access by road.
Yeah.
We don't hear them something there.
You know, search and rescue for the army up with that.
Of course.
I just know, you know, I hear people are lost in a Blue Mountain, you know.
And soldier go find them.
And soldier, and not only that, people go to Blue Mountain, go take sick, and a soldier go for them.
But here the next thing, Auntie Dawn. When you listen to Jess saying that she's trying to find the community.
Find the community. I'm glad she explained it.
And it sounds like Jess never have the resource to reach to the army and say, fly her in there, are they flying in there? She said no government official no come in our constituency yet. All of them something are rubbish. Unless the government don't come out, come say a lie them and tell.
And it's not, I don't think she mean any politician. I don't think she mean Desmond McKenzie or Pernell Charles.
The officials, the technocrats.
Like the technocrats. And them you want to know, you don't want to see no politician. Them only want to say politician now because they're not seeing who them is, you know. Because right now what politician can do. They are not the expert. Maybe one and two of them have certain training to do certain things.
Yeah.
However, disaster management is a specialized area.
Of course.
And we know we have it. Colin. We know we have it. Because
somebody saying the JDF is watered down. Only good for SOE.
But me not think so, you know.
I don't think so. And I think the men and women there are ready to go. They are brave and ready.
They are the ODPM. You remember, say, you're going to tell me, say, since Dr. Kirby and Ronald Jackson leave ODPM, have nobody?
But you realize, I think the ODPM man, the ODPM man, what's his name again? Evan Thomas. You have Evan Thompson from the Met Office.
No, he means the Met Office, my meteorologist.
Yeah, man. He made but the ODPM man, I think him name Evan too, you know, man.
Okay.
I think him name Evan too.
Usually, you know the head, because in the Ronald Jackson time and the Dr. Kirby time, them never, you know them.
Yes, man. But,
so
but the politicians now take over all of the disaster. Remember all COVID and the politicians, them deal with it. Not the technocrats.
I don't know if you may say that they must, them sometimes the politicians, the cabinet ministers must know, say, and all the while you have to be lead singer. Sometimes you have to turn backup singer too, you know.
Yeah.
And this is the time you to be backup singer and make the lead singer them go up front.
The technical people them deal with the thing. Richard Thompson.
And the experts are the upfront people.
Right. Richard Thompson is the man at ODPM Auntie Dawn.
Okay. Yeah, we're tired. We're telling me now. What Darrell Vaz, what the Prime Minister can tell we about disaster. Tell me, what they can tell we about disaster. They can't tell me nothing about disaster.
Auntie Dawn.
And that is what we want to see here, the expert, them, the people them in our health. You don't hear nobody from health talk about health issues.
All right, Auntie Dawn. Thanks, yeah.
Yes, you take care. Yeah.
Bless you. Madam Producer.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, it's up.
As it relates to what you said, what the viewer said a while ago about the army being watered down, I believe so too. And
turn it on.
I want to ask you a question.
Make certain your mic on for me.
It's on.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a question. The training that you did then, is it the same level of training now?
Me here say not the same thing. Me here say totally different. In fact, I was talking to some young soldier the other day, and I think the sergeant, when I told him my intake, him said them they are the real soldier.
Okay.
That was his
So,
statement.
If the training is not the same, you know, believe that other things as it relates to the army still is not the same.
Possibly, but I am sure they are still brave. They still get a level of training and they are still brave
But
men
as
and
it
women.
relates to skills,
The skills may be different,
different.
but then in the army you always have different people get different training at different level of skill. And I still think you have that elite force that can deal with certain issues. Well, my listeners and viewers, we've been here since 2 o'clock. We took the thing and we're going to be back here tomorrow evening again for another show. Our army is our people. You think they don't have families affected by Melissa? Yes, they do. But you get a time to go look about your family and then you have to deal with the work. You have to commit. When you commit to the work, you know, you have to deal with the work. Go ahead, Carla.
Hello, good evening. So this is my take on everything that's going on. Can you hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you.
All right, so I'm a U.S. Army veteran.
Oh?
And when we do our field exercises, so every now and then, like every 6 months or so, we have to go out into the field, which is like camping out in the woods.
Yes.
And we set up our tents. We have porta potties and things like that.
Yes.
And that's where we sleep.
Yes.
We sleep in the tents on cots.
Yes.
We have things called water buffaloes that we bring out there full of water for us
Yes.
to drink. We set up tents. Well, we have drivers to go out to the DFAC to get food to bring back because we by regulation we have to get one hot meal a day.
Yeah.
So we get our hot meal a day, whether it be breakfast or lunch or dinner. And we're out there eating MREs, which is a meal ready to eat, the packaged meals or whatnot.
Right.
So I don't understand why the government can't use the soldiers to set up a 360 perimeter to clear out some areas for them to airdrop food and supplies and go from there.
Of course, the army can do that. Our army can do that. And all that you just mentioned, the Jamaica army well used to do that.
Like I'm up here and I'm still in disbelief and it's hurting my heart because the regular citizens are doing more than the government.
That's what I see.
They're doing more than the government. Like excuses about not being able to land and stuff like that. They can airdrop supplies. They have soldiers out there. Deploy the soldiers out there to do a 360 perimeter and airdrop the supplies so the residents don't bombard them.
Yeah, yeah. Carla, I just think that the people who are leading this are the wrong set of people. We have the policy makers leading where the technical people ought to be leading. When you see these press conferences with the government, the army should be there, the head of the ODPM should be there, the head of Red Cross should be there. Those kind of people should be there taking the lead and government making the resources available.
Yeah.
But we see the government, the politicians taking the lead and the technocrats, we're not hearing from them.
Yeah, and another thing too, like people on social media, they're saying, oh, we don't see this PMP MP, we don't see that PMP MP, and they don't understand that PMP are not the governing party right now.
But Carla, some of
they
the
don't
people
have the resources.
Hold on, some of the people where I said they don't see the MP, they're not living at the constituency where the MP is elected, you know, or come from the constituency, you know. Them just playing politics. Raw politics.
And it's like I want to answer them, but I don't want to because I don't have time to be arguing with anyone on social media.
Because I see one little man on social media talk about where Isaac Buchanan there. Since before the hurricane, Isaac Buchanan left. Well, me see my town little while, so I guess I must say today in left God town. Isaac Buchanan has been here 24/7 out there with the people. So
And they don't understand that some of the PMP, most of the PMP MPs, they live in their
Living
constituency.
at the
So they were
constituency.
affected.
Of course.
They were affected too, just like the people there.
Yes.
They don't live in Kingston like some of the JLP people and have access to resources, internet, and stuff like that to be posting every minute. They're actually doing the work.
Definitely.
They're doing the work. Like, if they weren't doing the work, then they would have been online posting this and that. But they're actually doing the work. They don't have time to be posting anything.
Definitely. Out there with the people, feeling their pain and making representation. Thanks for the call, my lady.
Okay. All right.
Blessings.
Good night.
This is Portland Spice TV. We've been on since 2 o'clock, so we're getting off at 5:30 today. We're getting off at 5:30. We'll be back here 4 o'clock tomorrow evening for the Colin Bell Show on Portland Spice TV. And then we're going to be from 6 to 8 on Caribbean Radio HD with a different kind of show. Show them a skill and versatility. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. You're live on Portland Spice TV.
Yeah, Colin, big up. And much appreciated where you go down, go do the other day.
Yeah, man, I was going back Thursday.
Yeah, it was a good look. It was a good look and a nice gesture and thing.
Yeah, man, hopefully we can carry a whole heap more things Thursday because the people them need things, you know?
Yeah, but just a comment more make still. The army water down for you because just the other day I speak to one of my colleagues. Him still the boat.
Caller?
Hello?
Go ahead,
Hello?
caller. Where are you, man?
Yeah, man. I speak to one of my colleagues the other day, and he must say right now you have you to come in and get rank and them things like them come in, and then we get like a lance corporal and a corporal based on what they used to do a road, like the qualification they used to have a road. So that kind of demoralized who they did it before. So you find out say a lot of the experience trooper them left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
listen,
really affect
I am seeing some things. I see soldier upon road in a uniform I eat. That could have never happened when I was there.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Mrs. some soldier the other day on the road, full of beard. I say, yeah? And that's so the army I go now. So not even the discipline no look so stiff like when we did it.
Yeah, discipline total weapon, man.
Somebody asked a while ago what intake I was. I was intake 69. Long time.
Yeah, we have what intake there.
No, man, earlier 90s, man. I talk about me. It was what, 92? Someone, I think 92. 91, 92, somebody there about. Yeah, man. So
yeah, so I really enough you have civilians who pick it up, them pick up say it's not really robust like one time, so the comments say what you see, far off.
Yeah, man, the producer there straight upon it water down.
Yeah, it civilian them out there pick it up.
Yeah, yeah. And see, and then the army don't have the kind of respect that it had. And one of the reasons why that is that this government is also a part of why the army get too familiar. You know? Too familiar. So the respect, the respect that people used to have for the army, them not have it again. Because as me say, familiarity breed contempt. And when you have the army out there every day and every little ray and this whole extended SOE and the world, that was a part of watering down the Jamaica Defense Force.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents still, you know.
Thanks for the call, my brother. Thanks very much. Jungle Juice? What do you call Jungle Juice? Well, go ahead, yeah.
All right, so
you turn it on?
Yeah, man, I have a cousin. And I remember one day he said to me that he meet some soldiers who were on training. And then give him some jungle juice, and with the jungle juice bad. But I was working at Titchfield and at the soldier camp in 2003 13, I think.
Yeah.
And when they're going out in the woods on survival training, they would mix ordinary juice and put it in the igloo. And they call that jungle juice.
Oh, okay.
But then, because people respected soldier then, anything at all soldier tell them, anything at all, them believe. And they believe that it worked because they believe that when they drink the jungle juice, it did something for them. So I'm just saying that no is really different. People are really respect. The respect is not there again like one time.
Yeah, the army, the Jamaican army has lost it. Has lost it. And as I said, one of the reasons was these multiple SOEs and familiarity breed contempt. You know? So yeah. But my people, I want to thank everybody for joining this evening. We've been on since 2 o'clock. We're going to be back here tomorrow evening. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like, share, click the notification bell to ensure that whenever we are on, you're on. As we say, we're going to Westmoreland Thursday. Anybody wants to donate, there's a cash app on the profile. You can look at it and use it. Or you can send us a message, WhatsApp message to 804-7072. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace. Until we meet again, this has been the Colin Bell Show.